Okay. Here we are back with this again. I'm already too warm and we just started. That's great. Let me see here. Got this here. Got this here. Let's move this a little closer to the middle. That should be good. Let's move this a little closer to the left side. There we go. And, yeah, we're pretty well set, I think. I'm going to wait a few minutes, obviously, to let people filter in and give myself a little breather since I've been moving the past couple of hours. Getting everything ready. So, I'll say it's probably closer to 2.5 minutes now. Yeah, 2.5 minutes we'll get started. So, in case anyone's ever wondering why I do it in half minutes, my clock in my room it's just a battery powered clock, but it is a digital clock that's about 30 seconds ahead of my phone clock. So when that one says, like, let's say that one says 4:36, about 30 seconds later my phone will say 4:36. So that's why I do it that way, because one says one thing and one says the other thing. So just in case anyone was wondering what my prerogative is there. I think what we'll do actually is we'll let the song cycle through one more time. And then once it's done cycling through, that's when we'll get started. Because it's about 90 seconds, which should be just about right. So. And then we'll go. You know, just looking at the title art here, I didn't really think about this before. There's not a whole lot of Legend 3 representation on the title card, is there? Because, like, I mean, the guy with the chainsaw is from Legend 1, probably, if I had to guess, because he looks very similar to the concept art that they show on the next screen. The slime and the robot are obviously Legend 2. The dragon looks like that in Legend 1 and Legend 2. Actually, the slime looks like that in Legend 1 as well. And the Esper up there, or mutant as it were, they look like that in all three, really, but really it's mainly Legend 1 and Legend 2. So I would guess the guy in front here is a human male from Legend 2. And then the guy with the brown hair on the right in front is the main character of Legend 3. So yeah, not a whole lot of representation there. Whoops. Well, the song's almost over anyway, so we can go back just like this. And then we can go from there. Alright. We're back with this. Take a look at that. And actually, I'm kind of excited because this is where the series starts to get a lot more interesting, in my opinion. First game's a little rough around the edges. Second and third game's much better. How you doing, everybody? My name is Monochromium, and today we're going to be continuing my playthrough of the Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend. As you may know, the last time we were here, we finished up Final Fantasy Legend 1, or The Final Fantasy Legend, as it was originally titled. And that means that today we get to move on to Now, I said previously that Legend 3 was probably my favorite of the trilogy. I went on record with that in the first episode of this one, Final Fantasy Legend playthrough, stream through. And you think I need to retract that statement, because since we finished this game, for the stream, I actually went back and played both Legend 2 and Legend 3 to refamiliarize myself with the mechanics a little bit. And I think I have to change my mind, honestly. Like, I like Legend 3 better than Legend 1, obviously. And I mean, it's a pretty solid game, in my opinion. I enjoy certain aspects of it, and the fact that they actually did certain things with it that you don't normally see in some other JRPGs. But I gotta give it to Legend 2. Once I played it through all the way, I had never played it through all the way before. Once I played it through all the way, it's a really solid game. And of the three, it probably is the one that holds up the best out of all of them as a game. Because even today, Final Fantasy Legend 2 feels like a game that's refreshing and worth playing. It's got that classic JRPG feel to it. And frankly, if I'm being completely honest, if you like Shin Megami Tensei, or if you've been thinking about trying Shin Megami Tensei, you'll probably like Final Fantasy Legend 2, because it feels very reminiscent of a Shin Megami Tensei game just on the Game Boy. So I guess Devil Kids, kind of. I have never played a Devil Kids game, so I can't really tell you one way or the other. But yeah, it's very reminiscent of that to me, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Legend 2, well, all of these games came out during the development of Shin Megami Tensei 2. And probably influenced Shin Megami Tensei 2 in some way. But if one of them influenced it the most out of all three of these, it's probably this one. So I think that's enough talking for now. Well, I'm going to keep talking because I'm, doing commentary, but let's stop chatting about it and start playing it, shall we? And I didn't mention it while we were on the title screen back there, or the title select screen, but we got a little gold trophy in the top right corner of Final Fantasy Legend 1. For beating it. So we'll get one of those each time we beat one of these. And there is a 100% reward, as I found out after I finished playing Legend 2 and Legend 3 and had to delete my save file and then beat Legend 1 again. It's okay, it didn't matter too much. I played Legend 1 in the like 2-3 weeks it's been. I played Legend 2, Legend 3, and then Legend 1 again. And I beat Legend 1 with a 1 mutant 3 monster team, and it was piss easy. I made this game, well, not this game, Final Fantasy Legend 1 look a lot harder, I think, than it had to be when I beat it for the stream, because I was using 2 humans. If I was using 2 monsters instead, it would have been, oh my god, it would have been so much easier on me. I made it hard for myself. It's okay, though. So this time, because it's the first episode, probably going to be very similar to Legend 1, where there was a lot of mechanical explanations in the first episode. There's a lot of mechanics to go through in this game, and I'll hopefully remember most of them as we go through, but I'll try to keep you guys in the loop, but also keep things moving along smoothly as we go. So, without further ado, this is Final Fantasy Legend 2. Let's get started. I'm going to press fast forward just a little bit so it moves just a smidge faster, because if you do it normally, it slides all the way up the screen real fast. So, Magi, the symbol of true power, the legacy of the ancient gods who made the world. Many fought for the mighty power. Some won, and some failed. Now, another legend of bravery is about to begin. There we go. In this game, unlike in Legend 1, there's no way to change the text speed, so probably when there's text on the screen, I will use fast forward, the game speed normal fast section there, to just move things along at a fairly smooth clip. It works a lot better than trying to do it with the A button and doing it in bursts, because then some actions are going to be almost skipped over because I'm trying to slide through them a little at a time. Anyway, Legend 2 adds a new class as your starting character, and other characters you can be. Robots. You can actually play as a robot now, in addition to playing as a human, a mutant, or a monster. And they give you 3 different types of monsters to start with here. Me personally, I usually like picking a robot as my main character. I think the one that makes the most sense is the human male or female, because they look very similar to the parent characters in the game, at least in this version. I think in the DS version of the game, they change the parents depending on who you pick. But in this version of the game, probably these 2 are the ones that make the most sense, because the parents are human. But I personally am going to be picking a robot because robots are your tanks of the game. They are usually in the front slot of your party, and they do that thing that they did in Final Fantasy Legend 1 where the front member of your party takes the most attacks. It's like 60% of all attacks or something like that are aimed at them. So I like having my tank in front, and for that reason, we're going to pick a literal tank. We're going to pick a robot. And we're going to name this robot... Well, see, I wanted to come up with something that would be, like, similar to robots in old fiction. Like, originally I looked it up, and there was a robot, the first robot depicted in movies, anyway, was a robot named Maria, if I recall correctly. It was in some old 1920s German movie. It's like a German sci-fi movie. But unfortunately, you're limited to 4 characters again in this game, like it was in Final Fantasy Legend 1. That's not a problem in Legend 3, but in Legend 3, it's... I think you only get to name 3 of the characters in Legend 3, and there's a 4th party member that you don't get to name, if I remember right. It's been a little while. I usually don't change the names in Legend 3 anyway. Not the point. So I couldn't use Maria. That's the main point. So I said, you know what? Here's an idea. Let's name our main character, our robot, Aria. Like the musical notation. And for that particular reason, you could... imply that all of the Game Boy chiptune sound effects that we hear in the game are from Aria because she's blasting the soundtrack of this game. It makes more sense later, trust me. But for now, we'll just keep it going. Our robot, our main character, will be named Aria. Let's go. Good morning, Aria. Make sure you feed the cat before you go. Oh, hey, Dad, what's up? Don't look at the blinking lights in my eyes. I'm in low power mode, you see. I would say, how does a robot get sleepy? But I suppose they can go into sleep mode just as much as anybody else, right? Oh, what the hell is this supposed to be, Dad? We got a prism. That's fancy. Oh, not again. It's fine. All dads leave home someday. It said so on TV. Or wait, never mind. That's All Boys. That's a different game. Okay, well, there he goes. Just jumping out the window. You know, that's a fantastic question, Aria, and I don't think we're ever going to get the answer. Meanwhile, years later, Aria has grown up. And there's Mom. And obviously, Dad being gone for years would probably make her want to go and look for Dad, so that's what we're going to go do. She even has almost the same wording as Mom from Pokemon Red and Blue. I knew you'd say so someday. You're adventurous like your father. I feel like a lot of Game Boy games that came out after this just took a lot of inspiration and influence from these, and it wasn't just like Shin Megami Tensei 2, which was Super Nintendo, not Game Boy, but you know. So, lots of inspiration being thrown around all over the place. Hi, Ivysaur, how's it going? Why does this robot have a human mother? Good question. I have a lore reason for it. It'll make more sense later. I don't want to spoil the story yet, so we'll. There is a reason, and there's a mechanical reason. The mechanical reason is that robots are the best tanks in the game, and your first party member is your tank. But there's an in-game reason too. I just don't want to spoil the story yet. So yeah, there is actually a reason for it. It's funny how things kind of fall together in the game in terms of the plot, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, we got to go to school because Mom said it's a good idea to go tell our teacher that we're probably going to be skipping class for the next forever. So, what's up, Mr. S? Right, well, we've been learning about that in school, I'm sure. Oh, okay. So the ancient gods created the world, and they left spheres of influence, quite literally, all over the planet in the form of magi. And the prism that we received from our father many years ago is actually one piece of the magi. It's actually probably one of the most important, and we'll talk about why that is in a little while, but apparently there's a total of 77 of them, and when they come together, they create the statue of one of the ancient gods, Isis. Okay, fair enough. And apparently we're not the only ones looking for magi, because other people are looking for magi in order to become as gods. So that's just great. You ever wonder where Nier Automata got it? There you go. No, they probably got that from somewhere else. Anyway, Dad's looking for Magi too, but he's not looking for them to become as gods. He's looking for them to prevent other people who could abuse the power from becoming as gods. I keep doing the, like, signal flagging thing that the robots do with their arms every time I say become as gods. Anyway, we gotta look for Magi, and as it turns out, we have an easy time of it, because the Magi we have is the Prism Magi, and it tells us that how many Magi are available in each area that we'll go to, which is rather helpful, because if someone else got their hands on that, they could probably do some terrible, terrible things with the Magi. Specifically, some of the other people that we meet in the game that are antagonists. Anyway, apparently class is in session, and they all want to skip class too, so that's fantastic. What do you think, Mr. S? Is it okay if I take a few people with me? That's what I'm thinking. So anyway, now we get a choice of 3 other characters that we'll have with us through the entire game. This game and Legend 3 don't do that heart system thing that Legend 1 did, where if your party members die 3 times, they're out of the game and you have to get new ones. You just keep these 4 party members all through the game, so... Thank you, Ivysaur. I've had a lot of practice speaking with clear articulation, so I appreciate that. It comes fairly naturally to me now, so... Originally from Genesis 3:5, eat the apple and you shall be like gods. Yeah, probably that's where it came from, and considering all the other religious and philosophical references that the Nier series makes, you're probably right. It probably was a reference to Genesis when they made it there. Okay, let me just look at my notes real quick, just so I can see what order I want my party members to be in. We'll be swapping the order around throughout the game. Arya will probably be in the main slot or the front slot of the party for the entire game, but other than that, we'll probably be swapping the other 3 around fairly regularly. But, okay, I got it. So, our next character that we're going to have, like I said, in this game you can choose between humans, mutants, robots, and monsters. And our second character is going to be a baby dragon. Now, of the 3 that we have here, there are 3 different classes of monsters. Not just like... There's a whole bunch of different types of monsters. There's slimes, there's baby dragons, there's imps, there's rhinos, there's... You name it, there's skeletons, there's zombies. You name it, they've probably got it in this game. But there are 3 different classes that all monsters fall into. Type A, Type B, and Type C. Generally speaking, Type A monsters are the weakest ones, and Type C are the strongest, with Type B being somewhere in the middle, until you get to the end game where all monsters are strong. So if you're going to use a monster in this game, and you're only going to use one, it's probably in your best interest to use a Type C monster, because they get the best transformations all the way through the game. So because of that, we're going to use a baby dragon, because it falls into the Type C category. Slimes are in Type A, and imps are in Type B. So they give you a little of everything, but generally speaking in the early game, if you pick a slime or an imp, you're probably just shooting yourself in the foot. So it's probably in your best interest to pick a baby dragon. So we're going to pick a baby dragon. Yes, baby dragon, how cute, indeed. And that's the one we're going to pick. Now, the name for the baby dragon might not make a whole lot of sense to people if you haven't watched my Final Fantasy XIV playthrough, and it also might not make a whole lot of sense based on what type of monster it is, but it may give away what type of monster this will be over the course of the game. We'll transform into a whole bunch of different monsters over the course of the game, but this is not just me playing Final Fantasy Legend 2. This is also going to be the origin story of a character that has become a staple of some of my other playthroughs. So if you know who Quenfucius is, you'll be happy to know that he's making an appearance here as well. So there is our monster. Now let's move to the rest of our party, shall we? Yes, Chocobo Noise, also Wark. Yeah, Wark would work as well, because that's also 4 characters. I'm just using Que because of the fact that Quenfucius is the name of a recurring character now for the streams. So I'm using Que instead of Wark. But Wark would work. Wark would... I almost tongue-twisted myself. That's okay, I did not manage to. Okay, next person we're going to pick up is going to be a human. Now, the way that you want to do this, if you're trying to really like min-max the stats, if you're not trying to min-max the stats, it doesn't matter which one you pick, because you can beat the game well in advance without having to worry about much of anything. But if you're trying to min-max, which I guess I'm not really, but I'm trying to be efficient with my choices here. You want to pick a human female. And the reason for it is because humans and mutants in this game behave almost exactly like mutants in terms of stats did in Final Fantasy Legend 1, in that they are what they do. basically. Well, actually, that's not even true. Mutants in Legend 1 were not what they did. They could just gain stats randomly. In this game, you are what you do. So if you use a strength weapon, you have a higher chance of... Actually, you have to use a strength weapon in order to gain strength in a battle. You have to use an agility weapon to gain agility. You have to use a shield in order to gain defense. You have to use a spell or a mana item in order to gain mana in this game. And so the way that it works is that humans, or rather just all males, human and mutant males, are better off at strength than they are at agility, whereas females are better off at agility than they are at strength. So I'm going to pick a human female because I want my human to work on agility throughout the whole game, along with mana and HP. Those are the only 3 stats that they're really going to have to worry about, but that's why I want to pick one, because they start with better agility. It'll just make it easier to level it over time in order to get it to a decently high level. And our human's name is going to be Yumi. No particularly special reason for that one, I just think it's a nice name and it's 4 characters, so it fits. And now for our final character, we have a mutant male. And he is going to be named... Null. Not N-O-E-L, unlike the... and I realized after the fact, I says, technically speaking, if I named the human female Sarah, and I named the mutant male Null, this would be very Final Fantasy 13-2 of me, only with a 4th party member. But, yeah, we'll just name him Null like this. It's really similar to, like, the name K-N-O-L-L. That's where the inspiration came from, but, Yes, Confucius, indeed. Like her big hair and headband. Yes, I like the human female sprite in this game. Probably the best out of all of the ones, all of the human sprites, basically, in the 3 games. It's very nice. I like it quite a bit. Yes, the grassy knoll. He's a very calming, nature-influenced type of a dude, even though his first spell is an ice spell. Not the point. He's going to be named Null. So let's take them with us, shall we? Okay, so there's a northern cave to the, obviously, north of town, and there's a town past that we should go to first. Thanks, Mr. S, that's where we'll go. But first, let's explore the first town, shall we? But yeah, I like all the sprites in this game. A lot of them are very good. I'm personally, the in-battle sprites, some of them I think are a little bit worse than in Legend 1, but I think some of them are better, so it kind of balances itself out. Well, thank you. I will do the best I can, I'm sure. What's up, man? Right, yeah, Mr. S mentioned it, and that's where we're gonna go. But first, let's check in with everybody. Apparently Yumi's mother is a Lamia of some kind? Alright, that's fine. Oh, she will, don't you worry about that. I think the impression that I get out of this is that all of the characters are, like, have adoptive parents, basically. I think all of their regular parents probably aren't around, because all of their parents are monsters, so... I mean, whatever, no big deal. Yep, go and look for Dad. He's been gone for too long, and Mom is not very happy with him about it, so we're gonna go see what we can do. Find him and bring him home. Well, I mean, Noel might be late for many dinners at this point, because he's kind of going on an adventure there, Miss Butterfly, Madam Butterfly. Okay, Mom, I'm heading out. And she means this literally, because in this particular case, Arya, you're the tank, so you gotta be as responsible as possible for your friends. And if you come back to see Mom, she'll heal you. Although I don't think she restores the ability points on your ability. So, like, we have Nail, and Flame here on Confucius. But if you come back and restore your HP with Mom, she doesn't restore the uses there. You have to make it to the second town in order to do that. Incidentally, while I'm in the menu, let's do a little bit of equipment management, shall we? Hi, Jaeger. Let's see. So actually, I'm going to go to the ability menu first. The ability menu lets you actually move around the skills that you have in this game. So I'm going to take Circle Para Poison, which is a resistance that Arya will have throughout the entire game. And I'm going to stick it at the bottom for menu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, there we go. Because that will never change. She will always have Circle Para Poison. So we're just going to stick that at the bottom and not worry about it, and just, it'll be there still, it'll be equipped, it just won't it won't clutter up my inventory, you know what I mean? She starts with a pistol, by the way, as a means of her attack. I'm actually going to take that off of her because I don't find the pistol to be very reliable, but I do find it to sell for a decent chunk of money, so we're going to take that right off there. I should mention also, so like I said before, I should mention how stats work in the game, basically. I've talked about how humans and mutants are what they do. So, for example, Yumi here has a rapier as one of her starting pieces of equipment. When she uses the rapier in battle, she'll have a chance of gaining 1 point of agility at the end of the battle. It's not guaranteed, but it is a decent chance, and it gets higher as the monsters that we fight get stronger. And basically there's a whole bunch of different weapons in the game. There are some that are based on strength, some based on agility, some based on mana. If we get a shield, all shields are based on defense, so if she uses a shield, she's supposed to be able to gain defense, but humans can't gain defense naturally, so she's not going to be doing any of that. Mutants can gain defense naturally, but they actually can't gain strength naturally. So you might say, so MCR, what's the big deal? Why did you take a mutant male if he can't gain strength naturally? Aren't they more strength oriented? And yes, that is true, but I'm actually not going to have Noel work on any abilities out of the 4 stats there, other than HP and mana. Well, out of the 5 stats actually. He's going to work on HP and mana, and those are going to be the only stats he works on for the entire game. Because he already has to worry about learning new abilities and everything like that, and we'll talk about that once he gets more abilities, but for now we'll just worry about HP and mana for him. Yumi is going to be a little bit more fluid in terms of both her ability to move, because she's working on agility, but also in terms of the stats that she uses. She's going to work on agility, mana, and HP fairly equally throughout the game. You can't actually influence how HP grows either. It happens naturally after a battle. All battles, as long as they act, give you a chance. Actually, I don't even think they have to act for you to gain HP. I think it just happens naturally. In any battle you have a chance. I forget. Probably that one, though. Monsters behave exactly the same as they did in Legend 1, though. All of their stats are influenced by what type of monster they are, so as you eat monster meat over the course of the game, you'll become a better monster or a worse monster, and your stats will be reflected accordingly. Robots are more interesting, though. Here's where things get interesting. So you'll notice that when I unequipped the pistol from Arya, her HP and her strength went down. Robots in this game start with a natural defense of 6, and if you want to ask me, I'm pretty sure it's because of Circle Para Poison. I'm not 100% sure about that. Natural agility of 5 as well. Those stats will be fixed for the entire game. Everything else that you equip will give them more stats. So, let's say, for example, I took off Yumi's rapier and put it right here, and then I equip it to Arya. And this is going to be... Arya is going to be a tank, but tanks in this game actually want more agility. It actually helps them quite a bit more than having just strength and defense straight up. And we'll talk about why that is probably a little later in the game. But let's say I want to give Arya a rapier. So the rapier is a physical entity right now, but when you give it to a robot, it becomes an executable program for them. What that means, in layman's terms, is that it reduces the uses of the rapier by half, because the robot basically downloads the rapier into their body. They can use it in battle, and then, like a monster, when you rest in an inn, the rapier will gain its charges back. So the robot loses out on the number of charges, but you don't have to keep buying them new equipment over the course of the entire game. You just give them the rapier, and then they can use it for the rest of the game, as long as you rest in an inn. So it's a very interesting system. I very much enjoy the system here, and that's why I said a little bit ago that this game actually is. It's like Ghost Hand just said. Hello, Ghost Hand. How you doing, by the way? It's actually very thoughtful and complex for an old Game Boy game. You wouldn't expect this level of depth from an old Game Boy game, but it's way in depth, and I really like it for that matter. So. Yes, it's a good thought, Ghost Hand. It's exactly like you said. It's unironically more thoughtful and complex than a lot of more recent RPGs, at least ones that you'll see in, like, say, the AAA space. If you go to the indie space, you'll start seeing RPGs that have this kind of complexity to them as well, but I usually don't see this kind of complexity in AAA JRPGs anymore. Not that most JRPGs could even make it to AAA anymore, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, we're going to take the hammer off of Noel as well, because the hammer is pretty crap. It's based on your strength, but all strength weapons in this game, until really late in the game, are also based on agility for their accuracy. So you can see where the problem is there. Agility weapons just use agility for both damage and accuracy, so the more agility you have, the better they get, because they just do more damage and hit more often. Strength weapons, even if you have high strength, you can still miss. So not a good idea to really invest in strength until much later. Pretty much never. You basically never want to invest in strength. That's the point. It's not really a good stat in this game. So, yes, passion does go a long way towards making things more thoughtful and complex. That's true. That's very true. And they did have a lot of passion for these sorts of projects back in the day. Like, it wasn't just shovelware, like some Game Boy games were a bit shovelware. But a lot of the times when they had Game Boy games that were shovelware, they were testing out mechanics and how far they could push the system. You know what I mean? And then they got to... So that's... I would call Final Fantasy Legend 1, like I said, rough around the edges. Here, they've improved a lot on the formulas and how they do the RPG mechanics quite a bit. And it's funny because it only took them like 1 year to go between Final Fantasy Legend 1 and Legend 2, and they made all these improvements. So it's pretty interesting, I think. Let me take a drink now that I've been talking nonstop for half an hour, and we haven't even left the first town yet. So basically, I unequipped the rapier from Yumi. She's not going to have anything to do for a little while here in battles. I could give her the pistol, and she could use that because it's only got 12 out of its normal, I think, 50 uses. But I kind of want to save it because it's actually worth a decent chunk of money as it is now. It's probably worth almost 200 gold. And as you can see, we're a little broke at the moment, so I would prefer to keep it if I can. Other things we can talk about while we're in the menu. The Magi is probably a good one. So you can equip or use Magi that you find over the course of the game. Right now we only have the one, the Prism. You can equip it, but it's more important that you use it, because if you use the Prism Magi, just like Mr. S said, it will tell you how many Magi are left in this world. In this case, there are 6 left for us to find. Once you get all of them, you get all the Magi in the world, you move on to the next one, repeat ad nauseum until you get to the end of the game. Sort of. It gets a little more complex later, but we'll get into that later. There's also a memo system in this game, which lets you, let's say you haven't played for a couple of weeks and you're coming back to it and you forgot a few plot details, you can check them out and it'll tell you a little bit about what's been happening and, you know, where you might want to go next. So it's an interesting thought process, and I like it for a Game Boy game because you might not be able to play this game for very long on each given day because it's for the Game Boy, you know what I mean? So I like the memo system being here. I just barely ever use it because I usually beat this game in, 4 or 5 sittings, so... Other than that, I think we're all set and ready to go, other than that one house that's up here by this slime. What's up there? Oh, what do you suppose is going on outside? I guess we'll go find out. The last one to give you a sense of complexity within the mainstream environment was Octopath Traveler. Yeah, I think that's the impression that I get from a lot of people who've played Octopath Traveler, is that it's a lot more of a complex game in terms of the inner systems and mechanics, similar to older JRPGs, which I think was the feeling they were going for. They were really trying to build it like a classic JRPG, so yeah, I think your impression is spot on there. Anyway, let's check out Confucius's old house. Yeah, he's gonna come with us, so... Oh, thanks, man, I appreciate that. So he gave us a cure potion, which will allow us to heal ourselves if we are dying, which is rather nice. I prefer to do that to dying. Cure potions in this game are similar to the potions in the first game in that they have a set number of uses. They actually upped the uses to 4 in this game, though, which I think is rather nice. It makes the cure potions a little more useful, I think, in a lot of cases, because you can actually use them for a decent chunk before they're gone. Less money you have to spend that you can then spend on equipment later, basically. So I'm going to put it at the top of my inventory, and then we're going to head out of the first town and move right along. Oh, someone's calling to me. Who's there? Oh, it's Mr. S. What's up? Oh, well, alright then, Teach. I guess you could come with us. Make sure we stay out of trouble. And so Mr. S has joined our party. So this will happen over the course of the game. Periodically, you'll get a temporary 5th party member. You can't really change them up too much. You can give them equipment if you have it, but in Mr. S's case, I actually don't think I can because he's a monster. But you can give them equipment later, but then you can't remove it from them, and you can't remove their starting equipment. It's basically, you can't give them too much of anything, and I will probably not give my temporary characters anything until like the end game, when you get one that will basically be with you for the rest of the game. So, but Mr. S is really powerful to start with. As you can see, his stats are essentially through the roof for this point in the game, and he comes with some really good skills. He can heal you with Cure 15 times before he won't have any more. He can use Fire, which is exactly what it says on the tin. It hits a group of enemies with fire damage. And then there's Dissolve, which is a single target attack that ignores defense and drains HP to give back to Mr. S. It's really strong, and it will basically keep him alive through every single encounter that we get in, and will kill whatever he hits in one hit from now on. So He's very powerful, and he will come in very handy. So let me save right here, actually. I'm going to use this first slot that we have up here as a sort of quick save slot, in case I'm saving in front of like a boss where I need to get monster meat or something like that. These other two I'll just use as regular save slots, so yeah, we'll do it that way. Anyway, let's start our adventure, shall we? Let's head up to the northern cave, and it's right up here. Awesome. Not awesome is the jaguars that we're going to have to fight in order to get there, so that's just great. Oh, my controller went off for a second. There we go. So for now, we don't really have too many options in terms of what we can do in battle. Which, by the way, speaking of battle, listen to this banger of a battle theme, man. Nobuo Uematsu went all out on this soundtrack. Like, this is really complex for a Game Boy game soundtrack. It's like... Like, the time signature is crazy for just old chiptunes, you know what I mean? So, but I really enjoy the soundtrack of this game, too. You'll find that I have a lot of good things to say about this game over the course of the time, and the soundtrack is one of those things. Soundtrack is great through the whole game. Every track is great. So... but the battle theme, like, this is going to be the battle theme through the whole game, so they obviously had to make it pretty catchy. And I think Nobuo did a pretty good job of it. It's pretty good. Anyway, so let's just fight the jaguar for now. There's two of them. Well, Mr. S is going to kill one of them with Dissolve anyway, so, and Yumi's not doing a whole lot. What you want to try to do as you're going through the game, now right now our options are a little limited, so it's not really going to happen, but you want to try to have every single party member move by the end of a battle. So like in that particular case, we actually managed to have everybody move. The reason why you want to have everybody move is because if you don't have your human or your mutant take a move in battle, the only stat that they can gain is HP. So that's obviously not going to help us later in the game when we need to kill things. I would rather they gain agility or mana, depending on which one we're talking about, so that they can kill things later. We don't need the jaguar's meat, so we're just going to leave it for now. And yeah, as you can see, there is a chance, but not a guarantee, that you'll gain stats at the end of battle for doing things. So Null used Blizzard there, so he had a chance to gain mana, but he did not. You'll find in the first couple of worlds that gaining stats is a little bit rare. Don't worry about it. We'll gain plenty of stats over the course of the game. And if you can get your stats, like, we're sitting at, like, what? Like, basically single-digit stats at this point. Yumi's got 6 agility, 4 mana, and Null's got 6 mana, I think. Yeah. If you can get your stats to about 50 by the end game, you're golden. And don't worry, there will be plenty of opportunities for us to gain stats. So if you're not gaining a whole lot of stats in the early worlds, no big deal. We'll gain them. Don't worry about it. We got this. So, oh, before I forget, something else you can do while you have a 5th party member in your party, if you press the B button, Mr. S, or whoever your 5th party member, will give you a little blurb of information, a la Final Fantasy III. So he's going to let us know we want to go through the Northern Cave. And they update what they say depending on what's been happening, in some cases. Sometimes they don't update what they're going to say. Mr. S in particular has a couple of things to say over the course of this cave, so I'll try to get them all as we go along here. I can't guarantee I'll get everything, or that I'll even remember that, because it's not really a commonly done mechanic, but I'll try. So, okay, this battle's going to be, well, actually not all that tricky, because Confucius actually starts this game with the Flame ability, and Flame is really strong. Similar to Blizzard, it hits all enemies. This one is Fire Elemental, whereas Blizzard is Ice Elemental. And the skeleton in the middle is actually weak to fire, so this will be a very bad time for him. Let's have Null use Blizzard, and then Mr. S, why don't you just burn the Jaguar to death? Mr. S's agility will make it so that he basically always goes first. So that will basically have him aim at the enemy that is the strongest, and usually when he's with you, that's a Jaguar. And Confucius, because he has only 2 agility, will probably go last at the moment. So we don't need Spider's Meat either. So I'm going to be keeping the baby dragon for a decent chunk of the first part of the game. It probably like the first hour of gameplay will have the baby dragon, because Flame is just a really solid ability to have in the early game. So is Blizzard, really. If you can keep those on a monster for like the entire game, you should, because they're very powerful mana abilities. Being able to hit all targets with one ability is fairly strong in this game. It lets you soften up targets that you otherwise wouldn't be able to kill with your other attacks. So there's another cure potion for us. We'll give Yumi one of those once we, and probably Null one of those as well once we get a little bit further in. And there's a bronze shield for us as well. Any thoughts, Mr. S? Yes, we did find treasure. Our expedition is already paying off. So yeah, we need to use the equip menu to use items. So as you can see, the little blurb that Mr. S gives us is dependent on what's been going on. Okay, so Arya has 51 HP and 6 defense before the bronze shield if we equip it for her. She now has 8 defense and 60 HP, so that's not too bad. The way that it works with armor, by the way, for robots, as we'll see when we get to a town, the quality of the armor, or the material of the armor, is what determines the stat gains for the robot. So all bronze equipment will give a robot the same stats. Now that's important later, as we'll find out, because it saves you a decent chunk of money in the long run, because you don't have to buy, like, a helmet, a piece of body armor, a glove, or rather gloves and shoes for your robot. You can just buy a whole bunch of gloves and let them download them and use them as glove programs for armor. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, though. We can't buy gloves yet, so don't worry about that for now. But once we get to a town, it'll make more sense. I don't want to equip that cure potion yet. Actually, I'll equip one on Null, just in case we need, like, a heal or something. I don't think we'll need it because we have Mr. S here, but in a little bit, excuse me, we might need a heal, so. Also, I haven't really mentioned it yet, but the encounter rate in this game is actually pretty high. As you'll see eventually here, it's probably not going to be too bad at the moment, but yeah, the encounter rate in this game is pretty high. It's done to make the game feel a little bit longer, but I don't think it's really too big of a deal because I enjoy seeing my party members gain stats. So it gives you that little, like, that feeling of seeing the numbers go up. You know what I mean? Which I've always enjoyed in older games. So. Sometimes it feels a bit grindy in newer games, and I guess in older games too, but I find that in this game you really don't have to do any grinding. As long as you continue to have every one act in each battle that you fight throughout the whole game, you won't have to grind at all. So it's, I mean, other than getting monster meat, obviously for that you'll have to grind, but yeah, other than that you won't have to, so. By the way, I should mention this as well. The reason why I'm having Mr. S use fire instead of dissolve in these particular fights is that fire, or any mana ability for that matter, that isn't like a weapon in this game, is actually 100% accurate. It ignores accuracy checks. So if you absolutely need him to kill something, use fire. In this particular case, I don't need him to kill something, so we'll just use... Actually, you know what I should do? Is I should have Arya defend with the bronze shield, because Flame and Blizzard will kill the entire group of Jaguars by itself, so... And then we'll just dissolve one of them, because I don't need to heal, so... Yeah, I'm very well educated in the mechanics in this game, so I apologize if this is overly pedantic to some people who already know all of this stuff. But I like to let people know how these games work when I play them, just because that way we're all on the same page, you know what I mean? That way everybody can kind of keep up with, here's the reason why I'm making this decision or this decision or this decision throughout the game. It's a means of being efficient and also teaching people how to play the game. Not that you probably need to be taught how to play a 30-year-old game at this point, but you know what I mean. It's just, I find it is, it's easy to keep the conversation going if I'm doing it that way, you know? So, in case you need a little look into my head, there you go. Don't get used to Quinfucius going last, by the way. Once he starts getting some other monster meat that we'll get a little bit later on, he'll probably be one of the fastest party members throughout the whole game. Probably Arya will be our fastest party member for almost the entire game, just because we don't have to do anything for her to gain agility. You just give her agility weapons and stuff, and she'll have agility for the whole game, but... yeah, it'll probably be Quinfucius will be the second fastest. There's a bow. We're probably going to give that to Arya because that's an agility weapon. It inflicts fixed damage, though. It's not like the rapier that inflicts damage based on how high your agility stat is. It'll just have a fixed damage percentage chance, but it gives you 2 extra agility and some extra HP as well, if I remember right. Yeah, it gave her nice 9 extra HP. So, yeah, we'll leave that on her for a little bit. We'll eventually replace the bow because we're probably not going to use it in battle a whole lot, but we'll leave it there for now, just to give her the extra agility so she can slam things with the rapier and it can do a whole ton of damage. Excuse me. We also got another hammer. I'm going to keep that and just sell it. Again, strength weapons in the early game, not so useful. I actually wanted to find this particular fight here against these gang members because they actually drop some halfway decent stuff, and I actually need one of them to drop something for Yumi, so that way I can have her actually do something here. Once we get to the first town, she'll have something to do, but until then... Actually, you know what? I don't need to use Flame, because there's only going to be one gang member left after I use Dissolve, and a Blizzard Nail combo should kill that particular gang member, so... I just defend against the one. There we go. Oh, okay, it didn't kill them. Well, then I guess we'll use the bow, won't we? And just so I was saying, we weren't going to use it, but that's okay. Alright, let's get rid of them. There we go. Awesome. Those gang members can drop an item at the end of a battle that I would actually like to use for Yumi. We didn't get it, obviously, so I can't use it, but if they drop it, so much the better. If they don't, no big deal. I am going to drink some water because my throat is killing me right now. Hold on. Not actually killing me. I was just struggling. You could probably hear it in my voice. I was about to go... So. But I took care of that. As you can see, the... well, Null obviously took a decent chunk of damage there because the Jaguars hit him. As you can see, Jaguars do a lot of damage. The other thing you can see is that Arya is either taking very little damage from the Jaguars or defending against them with the Bronze Shield. Unlike in the first game, where shields are mainly useful if you use them to block elemental attacks, shields will be useful through the entirety of Final Fantasy Legend 2 as a means of tanking, because your defense isn't nearly as high, and the monsters inflict a lot more damage. So, yeah, look at that. They did a number on Null there, almost one-shotted him. So, yeah, you want to try to defend if you can against large groups like that, because it's just more effective, really. It means that you don't have to worry about your party members dying, and then you can go from there. So, if they do die, by the way, in the event that your party members do bite the dust, when you finish a battle, they actually come back with 1 HP. So you don't have to worry about like going to a House of Life or something like that. Don't worry about it. They'll just come back with 1 HP, and then you can heal them. It gets a little harder to heal them later on when, you know, they have so much HP and you have to heal all the way up, but we'll be fine. No big deal. I should mention the punch that the skeletons are using there is a monster ability. It's not the same as the punch ability that the gang members are using. And the reason why I say that is because the ones that the gang members are using is actually a skill that we'll be able to learn from a shop in a little bit here. So that looks like a regular old Notorious monster, though, so I'm going to use our quick save slot and save the game. And by Notorious, I mean out on the world map. You could see them, unlike the other monsters. I don't want to give you this Magi. So apparently we're going to fight a baby worm. I'm going to try to have everybody make a turn here. Yumi's obviously not going to gain any stats, but we'll see if... I'll probably just have Mr. S use Cure for now, because Mr. S can one-shot this just like everything else in this cave. So we'll just have everybody use something. Give Yumi a chance to maybe gain some HP, give Null a chance to maybe gain some mana. And now that we've all taken a turn, now we can kill him without any trouble. Despite being a baby worm, he is still weak to fire, so, you know. Okay, we didn't gain any stats there, that's fine. And we don't actually need his monster meat, so don't worry about it. If you took any damage, though, before you step out of the cave, you may want to heal, because once you step out of the cave... What's up, Mr. S? Oh, okay, that's fair enough. You're pretty strong, so you could probably keep the town safe. We'll come back once we've found Dad and found all the Magi. Or at least the ones that Dad wants to find. Later, Mr. S. And so he leaves your party forever. And I think if I remember right, if you try to go back through the cave to get home now, he's actually just guarding the town, and he says, "What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be out looking for Magi?" or something to that effect. So you can never actually go home now until the end of the game. That's kind of sketchy, huh? Well, actually, I think you might be able to go home. Was that Dad just now? What's he doing here? Huh. Well, maybe we should go check it out. Yeah, you might be able to go home later in the game with the help of a Magi, but I'm not 100% sure about that, so... Oh, they have a shrine to Isis, huh? Okay. Are they fake statues over there, or is it the real thing? Let's find out. Oh, great. Ashura's back? Really? Guy was already a pain in my ass in the first game. Oh, okay, huh. I'll have to go check in on her. Less about the cute part and more about the fact that she might know where the Magi are, so... Unless we find Dad first, then he'll be able to tell us where all the Magi... Oh my god! Dude, what the hell's wrong with your face? I'm sorry if that's mean, but Jesus Christ! Did you get stung by a bunch of bees? False alarm, not dead. Oh, okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, the ancient gods did create the Magi, so they would have left it in their worshipping places, like the relics. Unfortunately, I don't know where the relics are, so, yeah, we're gonna have to go find out. Let's go chat up our local pub. Maybe they'll know where the relics are. Like I said, this game is very thoughtful in the way that it gives you things. It's like, hey, do you know where things are? No? Go to your local pub. It's a source of information. Oh, okay, there's a pillar of the sky holding up the celestial world. I don't know if this is the celestial world or just a part of it, but... Ah, okay, gotcha. So if we go to the northern mountains, we'll be able to find the pillar of the sky. Awesome.
It's freezing out there.
Yeah, it's really cold out there. The wind is not making it easier.
Oh, I know.
So,
Devil's Island, still cold.
yeah. Oh, great. And Ashura's men are looking for the Magi. Well, I guess we better do something about that, huh? Don't use the jukebox, by the way. You can actually use it to change up the music of the game, and like it's almost like a sound test. You can listen to all the different tracks in the game. Unfortunately, whatever track you play keeps playing until the next story tile you hit. Like there are tiles in the game. Each place that you step is a tile. Only certain ones have a story element to them. So if you don't hit a story tile for a while, it'll just keep playing whatever you had instead of the regular music for the rest of the game. Until you hit a story tile. So don't use the jukebox for now. We'll use it later when it's easier to get to a story tile, so I can just turn the music off when I need to. So, oh, okay, Ashura made a base up there too, huh? All right, well, that's not good. Hopefully we'll be able to disrupt his operations. Sure, I'll take a refreshment. Why not? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, this pub isn't exactly like normal. Usually when you buy a refreshment from the bartender, he'll actually give you some good information about what you can do next. In this particular case, he has nothing to say because everybody else basically tells you, hey, go to the shrine and talk to Key because she'll be able to tell you where the relics of the ancient gods are. And he actually doesn't take your money, though. Like, even if you say no, he doesn't take your money and he doesn't give you any new information. So that's worthwhile. Speaking of worthwhile, the inns are exactly the same as in Legend 1. 1 gold for 1 hit point, so if you have somebody with a cure spell, you can just stay for 0 gold, which is pretty awesome. That lets us save up a little bit of money so we can go to the item in the weapon shop, which is apparently run by a beetle. Fantastic. I'm not judging, I'm just surprised. And we can sell off our old equipment and buy some new stuff. So let's sell the pistol. Yeah, see, it sells for about 170 gold. That's not too bad. That'll get us a little bit of ways. Each of these hammers will buy a piece of armor for Arya, so that's pretty nice. Let's see, we got 1,000 gold, so that's not too bad. How much would I like to have, though? I think I'd like to have a little more if I can, because, let's see. Well, no, I really don't need it all that badly. I just want to get some bronze gloves, and probably a bronze helmet for both Yuumi and Null. So let's get a bronze helmet for both of them. Let's get bronze gauntlets. Let me see, how many of these do I want? I have a shield. So 1, 2, 3. I think I want 3 total for Arya. She'll have about, with the shield, 4 pieces of defensive gear for the entire game. So we'll do it that way. Actually, I'm going to move the bow down a little, or the shield down a little bit. Because she'll probably have about 3 weapons, 4 pieces of defensive gear, and then Circle Para Poison for the entire game. I didn't mention it before, but Circle Para Poison, it basically makes Arya immune to the vast majority of the status effects in the game. Other than Stone, she's basically immune to status effects, which is rather nice because most of the time, the lack of mana that Arya has makes it so that she would be very susceptible to status. But because of the fact that she has Circle Para Poison, she basically never gets status unless it's Stone. So it's pretty nice. Let's give you these bronze gloves. Get her up to, I think it's going to be 14 defense and 96 HP, so she's got a lot of defense for this point in the game. Most monsters probably can't really touch her at this point, which is pretty good for our frontline tank. Let's equip a bronze helmet on you. Get everybody up to, about 5 defense. That's not too bad to have. I'd actually think I should go give Yuumi the cure potion now, too, because in a minute we're going to be able to get something else for her, so... And that's all my items, so we've got 2 cure potions. Let's buy 1 more, shall we? The gold gauntlets you can get here is actually a pretty solid item as well. It's the 3rd tier of armor for a robot. So it's pretty powerful if you can buy it. Obviously, it's 3,400 gold. We don't have that kind of money yet, but after the next dungeon, I would like to have enough money to buy one, along with one other item. So we'll try to get up to... I want to get up to about 4,800 gold by the time I'm done with the first dungeon, which is... Or the second dungeon, really, because the cave was the first one, which is coming up in a minute. So we'll go do that. I'm going to buy one more cure potion, just so that we have it. Actually, I might buy two. I'm going to buy two, just so we have a few. Better to have more than you need than to have less than you need and need them as you go along, you know. Let's go hit up the weapon shop now and see what they've got. Probably not a whole lot that I'm actually interested in. This I am interested in, though, is the punch ability. Martial arts are back in this game, and they're actually really good, because in this particular game, unlike in Legend 1, where they're still exactly the same as they function in Legend 1, where the only thing that determines how they damage things is based on the number of uses that they have. So it's the difference between the max uses, in this case 90, and the uses they have. So punch will probably do basically no damage at first, but it will deal more and more damage as we use it. The reason why they're so good is because they're agility weapons. They have a chance to give your human or mutant a chance to increase agility, and their damage is not affected by their low stats. So it's a really good way to give them some stats in the early game, is using these martial arts techniques. So I'll probably have one for Yumi through a good chunk of the first half of the game, probably. You're good, Mom. Nothing's going on.
Okay.
So yeah, we bought a punch for Yumi. Anything else I would like? Getting another rapier would be nice, but we'll get an upgrade to Arya's weaponry before too long anyway, to where I won't need to buy another one. Might as well save the money. The other thing that I would like to eventually buy for, I think I want it for Yumi, is this kick skill. It's the second martial arts technique. A Sai knife would be nice for her, but I don't particularly need it after the first dungeon. We'll work on her mana in a little while. We'll be more concerned with Noel's mana for now, and we'll work on hers later. So let's give Yumi that punch technique, shall we? And then she'll be basically good to go, and that means everybody's good to go. Noel is just going to have blizzards, so he might... hopefully he doesn't use all of his blizzards before the end of the next dungeon, but Yumi's got enough punches for quite a while. Same with Confucius, quite a lot of skills, and same with Arya. So, excuse me. So yeah, we'll hold on to the 700 gold that we've got, and we will head off to the shrine so we can see Key, and maybe we'll find out where the relics of the ancient gods are, shall we? Let's save first before we go. There we go. And off we go. The shrine, like they said, is to the northwest, so that's where we're going to go. Among the trees. And now the enemies that you're going to be fighting are going to start coming up in larger groups, obviously. Just because Mr. S left doesn't mean that they're going to go easy on you here, so. How do I want to do this battle? Let's see. I think I need to attack the Ashigaru with the rapier there. Flame and Blizzard will take care of everybody else by themselves. I'd also like to see if Yumi can get a turn. She probably will, because Noel and Confucius are slower than her. So, ow, quit it. But yeah, as you can see, the punch does no damage at the moment, but again, it's not based on anything other than the difference between the amount of uses it has at the beginning and the amount of uses that it has now. So that will actually help us in a little while with getting Yumi some fairly powerful skills. She'll be mainly single targeting for a little while, but it'll get her agility, it'll give her an attacking skill that doesn't have a determination based on her stats, so it's all good. We actually got a longsword from the Ashigaru there too. That's pretty nice. That'll get us 200 gold when we go back to the store. So, and once you stay in mountain range there, you're pretty much there. So that little stutter that you saw that the game just made there meant I hit a story tile. So if you had the jukebox on and you hit that tile, it would actually turn off the jukebox and turn on the game's normal soundtrack. So. Oh, okay, well, she must be pretty powerful then. Ashura was a fairly powerful entity in the first game, so... What's up, dude? That's a good question. That's what I want to know. Maybe we should ask around a little bit. Excuse me, Mr. Worm. Personal space. Oh, so she's a healer, huh? Awesome. Let's go see if she can heal us. She can heal, similarly to your mother, she can heal HP, but not uses for your abilities, so... Oh, really? Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. The Prism Magi only showed 6 Magi here, so... The other 71 would have had to have gone somewhere. So apparently, Ashura's Desert is the next world, and then the Giants world is past that. So there's our first 3 worlds that we know about now. What's up, Captain Hook? Yeah, that's what I heard. Let's see if she can heal us. She looks familiar. I think her sprite is similar to one of the ones from Final Fantasy III, if I remember right. Anyway, hey Key, we heard you were the person to come to if we needed to talk to someone about Magi. No, I don't need to become as gods, actually. Yeah, we're looking for my dad, and my dad is going after Magi so that he can keep it out of the wrong hands. So if we find him, or rather if we find Magi, we'll probably find him. Oh yeah, he does have a fancy fedora, doesn't he? Do you know where he went? Oh, okay. Well, thanks for not a whole lot. Oh, okay. What's up? Yeah, that's what we heard around town, is that they're in the Relics of the Ancient Gods, so... 4 to the east and 3 to the south from the Big Rock in the Southern Forest. Okay, well that's a little cryptic, but I'll see what I can do with it. Thanks, Key. Whoops. Thank you, I didn't need that second heal, but that's okay. Better to be topped off than to be dying. So yeah, the Southern Forest is where the Relics of the Ancient Gods are, and we need to find the tile, the correct tile that it's on in order to get there. So that's what we'll go do, shall we? Off we go. But yeah, like I said, Key can heal your HP, but she can't heal your uses on your abilities. So if you need to heal your uses on your abilities, just head back to the town that's right outside the Northern Cave. Obviously, the inn will be able to heal you there. Well, here's the Southern Forest. I'm going to guess this is the Big Rock, so... well, let's fight these gang members first, and then we'll worry about where we need to go. Do I need to protect myself with the Bronze Shield? Not particularly, but I also don't want to use my rapier. I'd rather use it for... Well... I was going to say I'd rather use it for tougher fights, but really if it's a tougher fight at this point in the game, it's probably just because there's like 8 of a single type of enemy, so I guess I could probably just take care of them. The more uses of punch that I use, the better off we'll be anyway, because it'll get it down to the point where it'll actually deal damage, so... And yeah, as you can see, punch really doesn't do a whole lot. It's because the punch they're using is the same as the punch I'm using, so, on Yuumi, that is. So it really doesn't inflict a whole lot of damage unless they use it 90 times, so... Or rather, unless they use it about, you know, a few more times than we'll ever have to worry about it, so... Hey, we got an HP increase, nice. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3... There we go. Found it! The Relics of the Ancient Gods. Do I want to use a cure potion yet? Nah, I think we'll be fine. Well, the Jaguar might make it a little bit of a run for our money here, but it's fine. We'll be okay. Just punch the spider, and we'll be good. Yeah, as you can see, Arya with that 11 agility, she's really fast, so she'll probably outspeed most enemies that you'll find in the first world with 11 agility. And that makes it quite easy for her to take down the highest threat, just like what Mr. S was functioning as for our party before. Arya's doing that for us now. The only problem, of course, is that she can only single target, but we'll fix that eventually. She'll get a multi-targeting attack. Soon? Probably before the end of this episode. I don't know if I'll be able to use it, but the left path there, it just loops around. It goes to the same place. It doesn't matter if you go left or right there, you end up in the same place. So, Confucius is a little bit iffy on HP there, though. Maybe I should heal him with Yuumi's turn? Yeah, we'll use Yuumi's turn to heal him. We don't gotta worry too much about Yuumi for now. She's in good shape. Other than, you know, getting Punch's uses down. Ow. Quit it. Don't get used to them barely doing any damage to you there. They'll start doing a lot more as we go. Ooh, look, already found a treasure room. Awesome. What's in here? Apparently a bunch of monsters. Well, that's just fine. Get used to that, by the way. Monsters will have a decent tendency of interrupting you like that throughout the game, so... It's a good thing I'm not cutting out monster battles like certain other people that have played this game for YouTube. Otherwise, I'd have to be dealing with them constantly interrupting me. You know how much I don't like being interrupted. Anyway, there's a whip in this chest. It's not really all that good, to be honest. it's a weird weapon. It uses strength to determine damage, but it has a chance to increase your agility, and it's based on agility for its accuracy. And it also has a chance to paralyze a single enemy. It has like a 40 or 50% chance to paralyze a single enemy. So it's a really odd weapon, but the accuracy is so bad on it that I usually never end up using it, so I wouldn't worry about it. We'll just sell it for decent money. I think it sells for like 200 or 400 gold, so... Yeah, look at how much work that shield is putting in for me. Obviously, if they hit somebody else, it's not going to help me, but Arya being in the front is making it a lot easier. And those toads are weak to ice, so that makes it a little easier to deal with them as well. I might have Noel use the Cure Potion, though, just so that I can save on his Blizzard charges, because he... I would prefer him to have Blizzard for certain battles where the enemies are weak to ice. It would make a little more sense if I gave him a weapon of some kind or something else to do, but he doesn't need it. All I need him to do is get mana. So, yeah, let's attack the... I know the toad is weak to ice, but I'd rather attack the toad with the rapier because there's only one of him. A Flame Blizzard combo will take out the fungi, so... And I know I just said I was going to try to save my Blizzard charges, but... Meh, it's okay. We'll be fine. This isn't that long of a dungeon. I say that now, but then the enemy encounters are going to screw me. You just watch. Like, this is a particular battle that I was thinking about when I was saying, yeah, you know, I probably want to save his Blizzard for the battles where enemies are weak to ice. Because all of these flies, all 8 of them, are weak to ice. So, step Arya defend. Hopefully they won't all attack Quinfucius. Hey, look, Yuumi did some damage with Punch. Nice. Starting to get to that point. But yeah, most of them you'll be able to just defend against with the Bronze Shield. And we got Agility. Awesome. And a lot of gold, too. Double awesome. Yeah, getting Agility and Mana are things worth celebrating in these early worlds. Again, we'll be able to get plenty of stats by the end of the game, but if you get them, so much the better. You know, it's probably even worth saving at that point, just in case, so that way if you get tripped up by some monsters, you don't have to worry about accidentally losing a game. What's in this treasure room? This case is empty. This case is supposed to be full. Anyone care to explain? Is that a no? Nobody in the dungeon is explaining to me why these chests are empty. Don't tell me somebody got here before this. This is my first time out on an adventure. There's supposed to be treasure. You know, all I'm getting is a big box of nothing. Okay, whatever. We'll make it work. Yeah, we can use Nail. We can save our flame charges because a single blizzard will take out all 4 of these lizards. They're also weak to ice, so that'll make it pretty easy to just bang, take them all out. Just like that. Snap your fingers and you're done. Down there, by the way, next to the stairs there is that little area that we may have seen next to the wall when we first got on this floor. There's nothing there of note, so don't worry about it. I might actually fast forward a little here because all of the... Oh, okay. The lizards are slower than Null at the moment, so that will make things a little bit easier. There we go. Perfect. Oh, one of them even lived. Wow, that's impressive, actually. This is a fight where I would definitely want to use the Bronze Shield. There's 3 Jaguars. That's freaking nuts, man. Y'all out of your minds. And, yeah, we'll use Blizzard. Flame Blizzard combo is really nice in the early game because pretty much everything that you fight will just fall over dead. So, but yeah, see all that defending that we're doing over there? It's rather nice. Now, Quinfucius is still taking a beating, but, you know, it'll happen. There you go. And that should be everybody. Yep, there you go. Yeah, AoE skills in this game, as you can see, are very nice. And mana is really, by the end game, it's the best way to, you know, kill things. So you'll probably want to invest in mana on most of your characters, other than robots. They can't really ever get mana. I really don't think they can ever get mana. There might be like one item in the game that gets them mana, but it's really not worth it. They can't really do much with it. So there's a cure potion. Awesome. That'll replace the one that we're lowering down a little bit. I'm going to leave Quinfucius's HP low, though, because right about now I can have Arya defend, and I can just have Yuumi and Quinfucius do some stuff while Null uses his turn to cure Quinfucius. If the flies don't kill him first, because that would suck. But apparently, Arya's doing a pretty good job of keeping them from doing that. Even though they're, flies, so they could probably just fly right around the defenses, so... whatever. Do I want to use a flame? No, I'll hold on to him, because pretty soon Null's going to run out of blizzard charges, and I would rather he not. So, we'll just kill things. I'm not sure if these guys have 30 HP or 40. I guess we're going to find out in a minute. Okay, well, he didn't do enough damage anyway. Fine, I guess I'll use Blizzard. Oops, can't go up. There we go. I wanted to save my Blizzards if I could, game, so that Null doesn't, have nothing to do here. But that's okay. It'll happen. Depending on how many battles you get into, you might have a situation where your mutant runs out of abilities. It won't be a common occurrence, though. Later on in the game, we'll have plenty of money, so we'll be able to buy plenty of options for our humans and our mutants. Speaking of humans, Yuumi got more agility. Awesome. And we're doing pretty good on the money situation now as well, so that's pretty good. Not doing so good on Null's mana or on his number of uses for his Blizzard skill, but that's okay. The dungeon's not too much longer, so we should be able to get out of here without too much trouble. We will have to go back to the first town, though, in order to get him his Blizzard charges back, though, so it might take a little bit to do that. There will be another town that we'll be able to go to if we can keep going, but I'm not going to go to that town just yet. We're going to go back to the first town just because they have different items in the first town than they do in the other towns. So how many flies were there? 4? Yeah, I guess I can defend. Save those flames and just keep using Blizzard. I didn't mention how Blizzard calculates its damage yet, but Blizzard and Flame are the same in terms of the way that they calculate damage. It is based on your mana stat times 5. So whatever Null's mana stat is, that's the base. That times 5 is the base damage of Blizzard. So it'll have base damage of 30 on any Blizzard that he casts. Now, if enemies are weak to it, it usually does about double damage, so that'll obviously do 60, which is plenty to kill those flies. So, and Flame is the same way, it's just Fire Elemental instead of Blizzard Elemental. Now, if you get Fire, or you get Ice for a monster or for your mutant through learning a new skill for the mutant, that will deal a different kind of... It still deals damage based on mana, but it's single target, or rather one group target, instead of hitting every enemy. And it deals damage a little bit differently. I'll explain it once we get abilities for Null. We haven't gotten one for him yet other than Blizzard, so I figured I'll save the explanation for once he finally gets something. Thankfully in this game, we shouldn't have a situation like we did in Legend 1 where every skill that we got was a meme, basically. The mutant skills in this game are a lot more useful. Even right out of the gate, the level 1 skills that you can get are a lot more useful for them. And there is a way actually to retain skills for your mutants over the course of the game that we'll make good use of over the course of the time that we're playing. So I'll explain it all once we get that far, though. It's not really important yet because we obviously don't have it yet. What we do have is thieves! You give me those Magi back! God damn it. Maybe that would have worked if I was a better adventurer, because as it is, they took all of them. Fantastic. Well, I got them on the run, though. Maybe if I chase them down, they'll give them back. Might have to beat them up first, though. They're up there, but let's go in here first, because while they were on the run, they missed these secret treasures. A few Magi. A Power Magi, a Speed Magi, and a Mana Magi. Before heading out there, let's go to our Magi menu so I can talk about equipping Magi. So, equipping Magi will give you an instant stat boost, basically, while you're in battle. It won't be reflected in your stats. Like, let's take a look at Arya's stats for right now. If we look at the... that's the wrong one. That's just order. Party order. She has 11 agility right now, so if I equip the Speed Magi on her, that gives her agility. But if I do it like this... Hold on. There we go. And then I go back to the ability menu. Whoops, wrong person. Yeah, as you can see, her agility is not... The boost that the Speed Magi is giving her is not reflected in her stats. It does reflect in battle, though, and it gives her 5 agility plus 1 extra agility for each Speed Magi she has equipped. So right now she technically has 17 agility, and it's very noticeable because her rapier now will deal probably about 100 damage, 120 a pop, maybe even a little bit more. Magi are a very powerful tool in this game for making the game a little bit easier, so you should definitely use them if you can. Now, what I'm going to do with the Magi is I'm actually going to give Null the Mana Magi, and I'm probably never going to take it off of him, because he needs the mana, and so obviously I'll give him the Mana Magi so that he can use them for his skills. Arya, same sort of thing. Speed Magi, I'm probably never going to take it off of her. Nobody will ever need it as badly as she will. So, yeah, we'll keep that on her. For Confucius, for right now, I'm going to give him the Power Magi. That'll make his Nail skill a little bit stronger. But Yuumi doesn't get one for right now, and that's okay, because Yuumi actually doesn't need one. The Punch skill is not going to be determined based on her stats, so she doesn't need a Magi to increase any of her stats. She's perfectly okay on her own. She's a strong, independent woman that don't need no Magi to take care of her. So, she will be able to take care of things on her own. This is a tough battle, and I don't have any blizzards. So that's fun. Let's see. Arya's defending. I gotta take out a few Jaguars if I can here. Yeah, this is gonna be a little tricky. We'll see how this goes, folks. I haven't saved in a little bit, but that's okay. We'll be fine. Yeah, as you can see, the punch is starting to deal good damage now. It'll probably deal, you know, between 100 and 200 damage for most of its life cycle. So, that's pretty good. We're going to have to use 2 flames to take care of these guys, though, so that kind of sucks. But, I mean, what can you do, right? Just use the bow for that. No, actually, I should probably take out the Jaguars and then use flame on the rest of them, because the rest of them, honestly, they can't really deal all that much damage to me, so. Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll do that. There go all the Jaguars. They can deal, like, 30 damage with their Tusk ability, so definitely want to take them out first. And there we go. And that takes care of that. Perfect. And we got another punch. Awesome. Should I give that to Null just so he has something to do? I don't know. His agility really, I don't ever really need it to increase. I guess I could give it to him just to give him something to do for now. I'll give him the other cure potion as well. So, there we go. A little low on gold, but we'll get there. Get back here! Don't you run from me! They might have the other 3 Magi, so... Oh. Somebody else beat me to the punch! What's up? Guardians, huh? Oh, so you're the good guys. Okay. I thought you were with Ashura. Sorry for chasing you directly into the enemy. Holy crap. Well, that's not good. Are they dead, Arya? Yeah, that's not... wow, that sucks. Now I feel bad for saying that they were bad people. Probably... Should I defend in this one? Arya with the Speed Magi can probably take out the Ashigaru in one hit now. Yeah, might as well. Flame will kill the skeleton, and Punch will kill the goblin. I guess I'll use Punch. If Null gains 1 point of agility, it's not really going to bother me. It's not going to be his main focus, but it's, yeah, if he gains a point of agility, whatever, no big deal. You may have noticed, by the way, in the fight there that it said Null did nothing. As long as that comes up, as long as the message of them doing nothing comes up, you have a chance to gain a stat in the battle. So, like, because he even though he did nothing, he used the punch, or was going to use the punch. So as long as he intended to use the punch and had the chance to say, well, there's no enemies for me to do that on, he has a chance to gain a stat. If he doesn't get to act, he won't gain that stat. He'll only have a chance to gain HP. So, and because he's a mutant, he'll also have a chance to gain abilities, but we'll talk about that when he actually gets one. So, because at the moment, he doesn't really have one. So, but that takes care of the relics of the ancient gods. We're in okay shape. We need a little more money, but we'll be able to get some with the treasures that we got inside there. So, yeah, not too bad of a first dungeon run. I mean, we're a little low on uses, but that will become a non-issue very shortly. So, let's probably just take care of as many of them as we can. Yeah, I'll use Flame, just because there's 3 of them. Probably be able to take out most of them. Actually, no, I won't use Flame. I'll use Nail, because Nail is now powered up by the Power Magi, so that should make it a little easier to kill 3 of them. Yeah, as you can see, Arya's doing 136 damage with her 1 rapier attack at this point, so that's pretty good. That's nothing to sneeze at, that's for sure. Oh, 1 gang member. What's this gonna do? I'll just use Nail. Punch, punch. Kick, punch! I never played Parappa the Rapper, so I can't really tell you if that's relevant here. I do know it's a Parappa the Rapper reference, though, so I guess that's better than nothing. And one spider. Just do the same thing we did with the one gang member. Heh, nice. No longer nice. It almost did 69 damage, too. Sorry, I'm 12 years old on the inside. I have to make mention of it every single time. It's non-negotiable, you see. It's in my contract. Okay, we should tell Key that we took care of business in the relics and got a few magi, but also that the guardians kind of died, so yeah, that's a problem. So, well, we found some magi, but yeah, Ashura's men took a few of them and also murdered a few people, so that's not very good. So we're gonna go get payback at Ashura's base. Oh, okay, sure. Well, I mean, that makes sense. We all kind of have a responsibility towards our own world. So Key will join as your 5th party member. Awesome. How's she on stats? Not quite as good as Mr. S, but she has a few more abilities and a few more pieces of armor than he did, so that'll help her a little bit. She's got a full set of bronze armor, a hammer, a bronze shield, a thunder spell, which essentially acts exactly like Mr. S's fire spell, except obviously it's electric elemental or thunder elemental, and a cure book. So she's pretty good. She's a pretty solid teammate. But now, before we head up to the Northern Mountains so we can go to Ashura's base, which I believe she says if you press B. Yeah, so if you didn't get that information from the pub, she will let you know that it's in the Northern Valley. But before we go there, we're actually going to go back to the first town over here. I think it's actually called the second town, though, in the game's... No, this is called first town in the game's code. Second town is the next one we go to. I know it's a real original name. Nail, punch, and punch. And why don't you defend? We shouldn't really need Key to do a whole lot for right now, but her having access to that Thunder Spell and the Cure Book, very nice. It will make her very useful in battles where there's a whole ton of enemies, and I really don't want to deal with one particular group of them. So, and her hammer probably has enough charges in it where you'll never ever need to worry about her running out. Most of your party members that you get as 5th party members will basically never run out of charges on their skills, so 2 gang members, okay. How about a bow, a nail, a punch, and a hammer. Yeah, as you can see, the bow's not the most accurate weapon in the game. We're doing pretty good damage with that punch now, though. And, I mean, nail's nothing to sneeze at either. There's another punch for us to sell. Oh, by the way, item slots in this game. Your bag has actually been increased in terms of its number of slots. It actually has 16 slots now instead of just 8. So item inventory and inventory management is usually a lot easier in this game than it was in previous ones. Just in case you're wondering. So, let's use the rapier. We'll use nail, use punch, and hammer again. I'll probably not be... Once we get into the next dungeon, we probably won't be using the hammer a whole lot because it's... She doesn't really have the strength for it. She has the agility to make sure it's pretty accurate, but the strength is... Her strength leaves something to be desired, so... Yeah. I could heal with Key, but apparently I didn't lose any HP between the shrine and here, so that we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so now, let me see if I have enough money after selling everything to buy all the things that I would like to buy. We don't need this longsword, that's a strength weapon. We don't need this whip, because it's not really useful for anybody that I have at the moment. You can have this punch, you can have this punch, and that's it. I don't really need any more cure potions at the moment, and we are slightly short on money, actually. So, let me see, what can we do to get our money up a little bit more? I could buy the gold gauntlet now, because I don't think the gold gauntlet is available from the shops in the second town. So I would actually like to get up to 4,800 before we go there. Let's buy the gold gauntlet now and equip it on Arya to give her a lot of extra defense, and we'll equip it down here. We'll sell the bronze gauntlets because, yeah, as you can see, 22 defense and 132 HP, quite a bit better than what she had before. So I think that'll only sell for about 12, though, so we're going to need to go outside and kill a couple of monsters, I think, in order to get up to the 1,400 we need to get Kick, which is, I mean, it's fine, no big deal. Everybody should be back at full abilities now. Yep. Okay, and we'll get rid of that punch for Null in just a few minutes, but it doesn't sell for a whole lot, not enough to make up for what we need, so Now we'll just use fast forward to get what we need a little bit faster. Just need about 100 gold, which we might even get from this battle. You kill that guy. You kill the skeleton with flame. You kill that guy, and you kill that guy, and you kill that guy. So long, suckers. Eventually. Once we get to... Yep, there we go. Get to Confucius's turn. I don't need goblins, mate. Thank you. 33 gold only. That's fine. We'll get a little more. We'll get a little more in a moment. Just one Asigadu. Probably... How do I want to do this? Probably just do this. Just save on charges a little bit. Other than punch, I actually want to run punch down, as I've been saying, so... And let's just do this. There we go. Oh, the Asigadu is the only one that gave me money in the last battle. Okay. Excuse me. Lunch must be, not agreeing with me right now. It's okay, though. Alright, let's blast right through this one. There we go. Hey, we got an agility point out of this, so that's pretty nice. And now we can go sell that punch that Null has, because we won't need him to gain any agility anymore. Probably ever. And we'll go from there. I would like him to learn an ability, though, if I can get him to do that, other than Blizzard, pretty soon. So, because that'll help quite a bit with him, whether or not he has the charges that he needs in order to actually do things. Because 15 Blizzards, usually not enough to get you through a single dungeon. If you can get another attacking ability, it'll usually be pretty good for you. In terms of getting you through the next dungeon. I probably don't need to heal, but that's okay. Excuse me. I think the problem is that I ate a half of a sub and some cookies for lunch, so it's the chocolate. Oh, only got 1 gold from that. I'm missing 1 gold from what I want to get. That's just great. Alright, it's fine. Sell the cure potion. I won't need it. Key's got cure. We're fine. And we'll go buy Kick, which I would like to start working on as soon as I can for Yuumi, because it'll help quite a bit with... Basically, now she has 2 pretty solid attacks that'll let her gain agility for a good chunk of the game. Well, I guess a good chunk isn't really a... It's kind of a bit of a misnomer. It's more like the first third of the game, so I guess that's a good chunk. And eventually we're going to want to come back for a Psychic Knife for her, but we don't really need that right now, so... the way that Psychic Knives work, and Psychic weapons in general, is that the vast majority of them are mana-based weapons, so they deal damage based on mana, but they also are determined in terms of their accuracy by agility, similar to strength weapons. For Yuumi, that's not going to be a problem, because she'll have good agility from punch and kick, but for Null, he'll probably want to stick to spells instead of using psychic weapons, because he probably won't get agility ever in the game now that I sold that punch. There will be one specific instance where he will gain agility, and it will not be because of his own doing. It'll be because of armor that I'm equipping on him. So he probably won't gain much of any agility. So I'm going to work on Kick, because there's only one of these guys, so... Hey, it did pretty good damage, even right out of the box. Not bad. And both of my human-like characters got to go, so that's good. Don't worry about it if Confucius doesn't get a turn. Arya will always get a turn because she'll always be high on agility, but don't worry about it if Confucius doesn't get a turn. That's actually advantageous if your human and mutant can kill things and your monster doesn't get a turn, because that means that they'll save on their spell charges, or their ability charges, as I've been referring to them. So that's pretty good. So now we're in another town. Awesome. Oh, excuse me. I am the only god, is what he wants to say, but we're going to put a stop to that. Right, yeah, the one Sprite was mentioning that, I think, at the shrine, that the Pillar of Sky will actually lead to Ashura's world if we go there. He's probably protecting it by using the base, because, well, why would he want to let you get into his home turf while he's off finding other, other stuff? We're going to have to find a way in. I mean, we're pretty headstrong and fairly powerful, so we might find a way in just without too much trouble, so... let's see. Yeah, as you can see, you can buy some new stuff in this town, but it's very expensive. So we probably won't be buying this for a little while. There is a reason why it is all very expensive, though. We'll get into why that is in a little while. But eventually I'd like to get an SMG from here. That's the AoE attack that I was talking about for Arya. An Ice Book would be nice, and a Thunder Book would be nice. And actually a Fog Book would be nice, either one. Fog is not like a Confusion or Amnesia thing like it is in Final Fantasy II. In this game, it's the Poison Elemental spell. So yeah, Ice, Fire, Thunder, and Fog are your elemental attacks. Other than that, there ain't a whole lot in this shop that I'd be too interested in. Temptation is almost like a punch or a kick technique. It is based on mana, and it has a chance to confuse a group of enemies, but I find that it doesn't really work often enough for me to care. So I usually don't use it. Rockets are single target, kind of like the pistol, but yeah, I don't really ever use it. Sleep is sleep for a group of enemies, and prayer hits undead enemies only for a lot of damage, but yeah, I usually don't use it all that much. There's undead usually are just in, like, if you're ever at a point where you have to worry about undead being in a group, there's usually like a fire skill or a hit all skill that can just solve the problem for you. So yeah, not a big fan. You can use it if you want, though. I mean, it's your game. Play it how you want it. So. Oh, okay. So yeah, Ashura really is blocking the valley to let us not get to the Pillar of the Sky. Great. There's a few items that you can get here that are somewhat new. The Curse item, Eye Drop item, and Soft items that we get here. I would eventually like to get one of each for my inventory because those are for permanent status effects. Blind, Curse, and Stone are the status effects in this game that will linger after battle. And I'd like to have these just in case that ever happens, but I'm not too concerned about it for right now. They also have cure books here, a heal staff, which is like a cure book, except it works on all of your party members, and elixirs, or elixirs as they call them. I'm still going to call them elixirs myself. Those are like an inn for a single person. It gives you back all of your ability charges and all of your HP. So both of them all the items there are pretty nice. It's just that they're all very expensive, and I'm not going to be able to buy them for just a little bit. So yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid, but that's okay. We'll make a little bit of cookie dough ice cream out of the cookie crumbles, shall we? I guess that's close enough to the saying of when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? I mean, I did my best. What do I want to do here? Probably just work on punch until it gets down to like 50 uses, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, 141 damage, nothing to sneeze at. It's pretty good. As you can see, I would prefer to have Null get an ability here. And I might actually take the opportunity, because they give you an opportunity to make it a little easier for him to gain abilities in the early part of the next dungeon. So I might actually do that. We'll see. Oh, okay, never mind. I just got it right away. Awesome. So the enemies that we're fighting in this world are level 1 enemies. So the mutants in this game have, I think, 9 levels of abilities that they can learn. Ice is a level 1 ability, and he just gained it. So now that we've gained an ability for him, I can talk about mutant abilities, while Yumi also gained HP, which is also nice for her. As you can see, she's going to be nice and tanky. So here's how mutant abilities work. In the first 4 slots of your stuff here, and it doesn't matter if you have items in these first 4 slots, they'll still put abilities in these slots anyway. These first 4 slots are where your mutants will gain abilities. As long as you have an open space and you don't have 4 skills already, a mutant has a chance to gain an ability. In this particular case, we got Ice. In the first world, you can learn skills like Fire, Ice, Cure, which is really nice, and Warning, which is also really nice, but we won't have to worry about Warning too much, as you'll see later. And I'll talk about what Warning and all those other ones do once we get them. The one that I would really like, now that I have an attacking skill for Null, is Cure. But we'll have a chance to gain that in a little bit more of a guaranteed environment a little bit later. So we'll worry about it later. But Blizzard, like I said, is a hit-all skill. Ice is a single group. So now he should have enough skills to just be able to use only those for the remainder of the next dungeon. So we're in good shape now. Like I said, I'd like him to get Cure, but if he doesn't get Cure anytime soon, I'm okay with it. We'll find a way. So, but yeah, him having Ice, Key having Thunder. Oh, baby, we gonna kill things now. Now we're in business. I don't really need to worry too much about one spider, though. It's probably not going to be a big deal. I just hope he doesn't get a turn. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make sure he doesn't get a turn by killing the spider before he even has a chance to move. Oh, that's rather nice. An agility up and a max HP up for Null. Good, good. That's actually very nice. Yumi's agility is actually higher than it normally is for me now, which is pretty good. Null hasn't gained any mana yet, but you'll find that happens with your mutant, is that in a lot of the earlier parts of the game, the mutant usually doesn't gain a whole lot of stats, other than a little bit of HP occasionally. The reason for that is because they have to learn these 4 abilities, really, and those will always be in their pool of things that they can do at the end of battle. As long as they are in a battle and alive, they have a chance to learn an ability, and that makes it harder for them to gain the regular stats. That's why I'm only having Null work on mana, because he already has enough to worry about at the end of a battle to where he doesn't need to be working on multiple stats at a time. Then I would have to grind in order to get him all the way to where I want him. But if he's just working on mana through the whole game, he'll be fine. Here's Ashura's base. And up above there, you may have seen the Pillar of the Sky. We actually can't get there, like they said, until we get through here, so. He's got some pretty good music in here, though. I'd be jamming out to this if I was one of his guys. I mean, look at the zombies that are in here on the map. They're jamming out. Look at them move. Shaking it. Nice. I was actually going to use the zombies to gain Null an ability if he didn't have one, because of the fact that they're a guaranteed spawn. So, like, let's say I run into one, just like this, I was gonna walk over to him, but as you can see, usually it gets you a battle with a decent chunk of enemies, and the more enemies that are in a fight, the easier it is for you to learn an ability. So that'll make it a little bit... The reason for that isn't because necessarily, well, if you have more enemies, there's a higher percentage. It's just that for each enemy that you fight, there's a higher chance that Null will get something out of it. So I think that's how it works anyway. I think it rolls based on the number of enemies in battle. Like, it'll roll against it each time. Maybe not, though. It seems like I get abilities in battles with a lot of enemies, though, so... Normally, anyway. The one that we got before was a little bit of a fluke. Hey, max HP up. Nice. But yeah, as you can see, you can just keep fighting these guys over and over and over again if you want to gain HP or you want to gain stats. Eventually, it'll start to plateau, though, because they're only rank 1 monsters. But, I mean, if you're struggling a little bit, you may want to do that and then get yourself a few stats and then head back to town, so that you can get a little bit of a buffer for yourself. I'm doing perfectly fine, though, so I don't really need to worry about that. Let's see, anything over here? Nope. Back here we go, then. Ashura's base isn't too large, but there are a decent chunk of enemies in here that we'll have to deal with, so yeah, we'll deal with that as we go here. Why don't you just take care of gang over there. And then Null should get his turn after Yumi, so he'll blast the toads with a weakness hit, which will make them die quicker, which is good. It won't get me another press turn, but that's another game, so more about that later. I might actually want to switch Confucius out of the first slot, though, because he actually has a lot less HP now than is sufficient for an off-tank. Like, Yumi's got a lot more HP now, so she might be a better bet in that department. I might use just that and then have you use that, just in case. I don't think Null's going to get a turn, but yeah, there we go. Perfect. So yeah, let's do a little bit hardy management, shall we? You press the X button, and you can switch around your party members. So we'll put Confucius in the back, just for now. It probably won't last too long because we're coming up on the first piece of monster meat that I want to get for him. But, well, we're not there yet, so until we get there, we'll just let him chill in the back so he doesn't get hit as often. Yumi can take the hits now. She's got a little more HP, and it's decent defense. It's not the best, but it's enough. I don't think by the end of this dungeon we'll have enough money to buy like one of those spell books that were there, or the SMG or anything like that. We'll probably have... I mean, we'll definitely have enough by the end to get the psychic knife that I want to get for Yumi, but yeah, we probably won't have enough for the other stuff. I'm gonna grab my water and wait for ice to come up so that I can take a drink. There we go. Perfect. And Null got a bunch of HP. Good. Very good. Yeah, take any skill gains that you can get in the early part of the game, but if you don't get it, again, don't worry about it. We'll be fine. There are 6 of them, right? Yeah, I should defend. Because 1 ice will take care of them. We'll save our flames and blizzards for when we start running into a little bit tougher enemies. And by tougher, I mean larger groups. Because there's quite a few enemies in this game compared to the first game. The spawns that you got in the final floors of the tower, on the way to the final boss in the first game, that's usually par for the course in this game. Like, starting at about the middle floors of the dungeons that you get to, you'll start encountering groups of up to like 10, 15 enemies at a time. So, now obviously they're going to be only up to 3 different varieties, but there's still a bunch of enemies at the same time that you'll have to deal with. So because of the fact that enemies clump up in so many clusters in each battle in this game, it makes magic all the more worthwhile to use, because almost all magic, as a matter of fact, I think all magic, except for some monster abilities, will hit at least one group of enemies. So, excuse me, makes it quite easy to just blast things. So anyway, I started blasting. Bah! Just like that. Well, Null won't get a turn, but at least he'll have a chance to get some HP. Okay. Let's keep going. You know, thinking about it, the more that I talk, I mean, it's keeping me awake, but it's also probably making me sleepy and having to yawn there. Because yawning, contrary to popular belief, isn't just based on the fact that you're tired, it's also based on the number of breaths that you're taking and your breath control. If your breath control isn't good and you're not breathing enough, you'll start to yawn. So I learned that in my karate classes. There's a speed potion. So those potions are similar to the ones that humans could use in the first game. They'll just give you a set number of stats when you use them. Now, in this game, it's not as abusive as it is in the first game. You can't just get to max stats by the second world because they don't allow you to buy those in shops. There's 3 speed potions in the game. I believe there's 3 power potions, and there's 3 mana potions that you can get, along with, I think, 2 body potions for HP. What I'm going to do with those is I'm just going to use them on the relevant person, because both Yumi and Null, so humans and mutants, can benefit from these potions. Yumi will benefit from the speed more than Null, so we'll give Yumi the speed potions and let her agility skyrocket. If we get a mana potion, we'll give it to Null because he needs the mana. So Yumi will get mana over time, but she doesn't have to have the highest mana out of anybody. Her just being able to go first, even if her mana is lower, will mean that she can hit things for a pretty decent chunk of damage anyway, and then Null can just clean things up as we go if anything is left standing. But for now, the only thing Yumi needs to work on is agility, so just giving her the speed potion will save us on a little bit of inventory. You can save the potions, by the way, until later in the game if you want. You can just stick them like way down here on your inventory, like near the trash can at the bottom, until later in the game when you get a whole bunch of them. But I find just using them right away is probably fine. Like, usually it doesn't matter too much. It'll make it so that you have less of a chance to gain agility now for the rest of the world, but it's not really a big deal. So, what do we got here? 2 and 3. I should defend. Kick the Jaguar. I know we use Wizard and Flame. And then why don't you smack the Jaguar over the head with a hammer? There we go. I would use Thunder if there was a third group of enemies, but there's only 2, so a Blizzard Flame combo should be enough. Maybe not for the Ashigaru, though. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's okay. We'll take care of them. No big deal. We'll just do this, we'll do this, and they should be dead now, so we'll do this, and then that, and then that. I could even have had Key use Thunder there, but they were almost dead. It's fine. This room wraps around, by the way, so if you go to the right, you'll end up... Basically, you want to get to the top center part of this area in order to get out of here. So, that's where we're going to go. Excuse me. This is the kind of battle that I was talking about, where, like, this number of enemies that you see here, where there's 4 and 3 and 3, normally you wouldn't see this kind of a grouping in the first game unless you were at the end game. But because of the fact that we're, in the second game, it's making it so that the enemies pop up in a little bit more, a little bit bigger groups. So I'm going to use Thunder on those goblins because that will make it so that they are guaranteed dead, as you can see. And Ice will make sure these guys are guaranteed dead because they're weak to it, but also because of the Mana Magi making Null's magic or mana stat be very high. The Flame is fine, it'll just soften them up so now everybody can just kill them with little stuff like kick or punch or, I'll use Blizzard. Will I? Yeah, I guess I'll use Blizzard, no big deal. Nail or Hammer. Whatever you got, just got 3 fungi to kill, so that's it. Should be Key, Yumi, and Arya taking them out. Yep. There we go. Got a little money, got some HP. It's all good. Oh, this is going to be a little tricky. Got to get around these guys. There we go. Don't trap me! Okay, we're good. We got a silver gauntlet there for Arya. And we'll equip that after we deal with 10 more enemies. Fantastic. Let's see. What do I want to kick? Probably a spider. Blizzard might be nice here. Yeah, Blizzard Flame will be nice here. So, and maybe I'll heal somebody. Who do I heal? I'll heal Yumi. She could probably use it. There you go. So yeah, you should see a lot of blank attacks Arya, and she'll just defend and defend and defend, or just take no damage because she has so much defense at this point. So, well, that'll take care of the toads. Never mind, it'll take care of everybody, and I'll save a flame. Awesome. Good job, Noel. There we go, and we got a mana increase along with an HP increase. Awesome. Yeah, like I said, those are things that are worth celebrating in the early game. If you get stats, it's worth celebrating. We got a silver gauntlet, so let's give that to Arya. We'll stick it right here. Equip that, and there you go. A little more defense, a little more HP. She's pretty much going to be taking no damage for a while now, basically, because of how much defense she has. Still missing Cure on Null, but that's okay. Key's got Cure, so... Whoops, that's not what I want. Oh, right, yeah. So you may have seen that if I tried to equip her with something else, it doesn't let you. I was thinking I was on the ability menu. So I could do this. But can you do this? Yes, yes I can, PewDiePie. Yes I can. There you go. Heal up, and we'll continue on our grand adventure, shall we? I don't even know why I knew that PewDiePie said that. I've probably seen it in like a meme video or something. Anyway, if you wrap around over here, you'll fight some more enemies. And, I mean, that's par for the course, but we'll get into we'll get into why, or we'll get into something else in a minute. What do I want to kick? Probably the goblins, and then use ice on them, and just do this. We'll use thunder on the skeletons. They're not particularly weak to it, but they will die to it, so they only have like 50 HP or something. Ain't a whole lot. And those goblins will die to ice, which is good, because that gives Null a chance to get mana. Well, Yumi got HP. And this is the right side of the room that I was talking about a minute ago, so just wanted to show that before we move on. I can afford to. The enemies in here aren't that threatening to me. I mean, yet. But we'll get there. Ice, nail. Do I need to heal anybody? No, not particularly. I just bap one over the head, why not? I'm going to turn on the fast forward because I'm going to take a drink if my water bottle doesn't fall over. There we go. Just give me a moment. But yeah, as you can see, even the Jaguars, which were dealing upwards of 30 damage before to our you know, the people in our group that didn't have a whole lot of defense. Arya has so much defense now, they can't even deal damage to her with their Tusk ability, so that's pretty good. They'll keep her preventing the enemies from dealing any fatal damage, for the most part, for a while. Yeah, Blizzard Flame. There's enough enemies to where I would probably want to just spread the love around. So let's see what we can do here. Yeah, a little bit of extra damage we're taking. I mean, 18 to Confucius isn't very good, but yeah, he's not really getting hit all that much. I think it's inside of 10% he gets hit because of him being in the last slot, so it's not too bad. I would like to heal him though. That's a little it's a little sketch. You know what I would like to do actually? Excuse me, is I'd like to have Yumi use the cure potion she's got. I don't know why she morphs into Arya when she uses it, but that's fine. Whatever. No big deal. It's probably just the emulator that they used on the Switch version here. Let's have her use up the cure potion because Keys kind of got us covered in that department, and that cure potion was already slightly used, so yeah, might as well use it, you know. Okay, we're almost there. I believe if you saw in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there, that was a door that we're going to go through in a second to get out of here. So let's not run into the zombies while we're at it, though. That would I mean, it would be fine. I'd probably just run into a group like this, but whatever. One Toad, let's kick that. And Blizzard Flame the rest. There you go. Although I might not even get to Flame, because Blizzard is that strong with Mana Magi, so. We shall see. Yeah, like I said. It's okay. I'm okay with saving my flames. That's perfectly fine by me. Here, though, we can probably... Yeah, we can... I mean, the fungi could live... I guess we could use Blizzard Flame here again, just for the hell of it. Yeah, we might as well. Do I want to take care of any of them with Ki, or does somebody need healing? No, nobody needs healing. I'll just defend. It's fine. Blizzard Flame should kill everything. Yeah, the baby dragon and the male mutant, or even the female mutant, is a pretty strong combination in the beginning of the game, just because of the fact that they have these spread out damaging abilities that most monsters, generally speaking, are not resistant to for quite a while, so it's pretty strong, all things considered. There's an axe. It's another strength weapon, but it sells for like 700, so that's pretty good. It's the equivalent of like a kick or a... let's see, what else sells for 1400? Or getting a kick or a psychic knife in a chest, so it's pretty good. There's 8 enemies I should defend. Generally speaking, if you start to see numbers like 3, 4, 5, or anything above 3, and there's multiple groups like this, you should probably think about defending. It's probably in your best interest. What do I want to do here? Let's see. How about you kick the Asigaru, actually, and then we'll ice them. You do that, and then we'll thunder the Jaguars, and they'll die right away. There we go. Bootyful! Oh, look, you're even doing enough damage now with the kick to kill the Asigaru in one hit. Awesome. I didn't quite kill them all, but, you know, it's fine. Yeah, as you can see, Arya not quite using up all of her charges. Even when we're, you know, running through whole huge groups of enemies like this, she won't use up all of the charges on her shield or anything like that. There's 200 more gold right in the bag for us there, giving us a whole lot of longswords. That's fine. Okay, and in this particular room is where I'm going to have to start save scumming. This is the first monster where I'm going to need to get their monster meat for Confucius there, for him to evolve. So I'm going to get right in front of him and then save. Right here. Alright, what do you got, sir? What's so funny? Well, why is that stupid? She's just trying to save the world from you fiends, and that's what we're gonna do. So we'll fight him normally the first time. It's a rhino. And fighting him normally is not really going to consist of a whole lot because I have the ice skill, so we're basically just going to kick him and use ice and he's going to die because he's weak to ice. So it's not going to consist of a whole lot, but it does make it easier for me to soft reset if I need to in order to get his meat. So yeah, he don't have a whole lot of HP. He does do good damage though, as you can see right there. He just killed Null in one hit, so I hope I don't get his monster meat now because I really would rather Null be alive for this battle so he can have a chance to gain some mana. So, well, there he goes. Yeah, we didn't get it anyway, because otherwise it would drop, the menu here would drop down and say Rhino's meat, so. Okay, we can soft reset. You just press all the face buttons on the right controller on the Switch, so X, A, B, and Y, and that'll let you soft reset, so. Just in case you need to do something like what I'm about to do, which is turn on fast forward and just blast through the entire battle and kill him in like 2 hits. If you need to do that in order to get monster meat, this is how you do it. I guess I could have Ki use Thunder and just kill him right away, which would probably be better, because apparently he has it out for Null. I'm probably just going to reset this one, even if we get it. Yeah, we didn't get it, so. Okay. I have figured out the monster list, by the way, in such a way, in terms of the meat that I'm going to have everybody, or rather have Confucius eat over the course of the playthrough, to where we shouldn't have to do this too often. There's a few times where this will be the way that we do it, but it shouldn't be too often that we have to worry about that. That sucks. I'd like the agility and the monster meat if I can get it. I hate when the game does that. And it will do it fairly often here, because this Rhino is actually a level 2 monster, I want to say. So there's A, B, and C species of monsters, or subsections of monsters, but there's also levels for monsters. It goes 1 through 9, and then A and B. We've mostly, as a matter of fact, we've been fighting entirely level 1 monsters up to this point, and this guy's a little bit higher level, so we have a higher chance of gaining stats. But obviously, he's not going to give it to me when I get the meat. So, well, there's the meat, so that's good. What was I going to say before that? Basically, he can kill things, but he's not too bad. We got the meat, though, so let's give it to Confucius, and he will morph from a baby dragon into a raven. And Null actually got some HP out of it, so I'll take it. That was what I was going to say. If I don't get stats out of this battle and I only get the monster meat, I'm okay with that. Again, we'll have plenty of chances to gain stats over the course of the game, so I'm not really too concerned. But the most important thing is getting Quinfucius into a Raven, so... Well, what do you mean it's too late? Oh, great. Bonsai! Ah, hell. He kamikazed himself. And also the base is going to blow up, so we should probably get the heck out of here. But first, let's take some Magi from the chests. I don't think you can leave until you take these the Magi out of these chests, actually, so don't worry about missing them. They're not missable. We got a Defense Magi, a Fire Magi, and an Ice Magi, and we actually got restored to full after that battle. And as you can see, Quinfucius is buff Psyduck now, so he's a lot more powerful. But we'll worry about him in a minute. Let's get out of here first. Boom! And there you go, Ashura's base is gone. This is what Key will tell you, by the way, if you press the B button for her now. So, yeah, I guess we'll have to take out Ashura before he can cause any more problems for us, won't we? After we take out these Jaguars that just suddenly popped up and tried to surprise motherfucker me. It's not very nice. But I'll tell you what is nice. Ice is nice. I think I'm going to keep the Power Magi on Quinfucius for now, just because of the fact that he still has Nail. And as you can see, it deals a lot of damage now, so almost as much as Kick. So, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, before we go to the Pillar of the Sky, though, let's go back to the second town and just see if we can buy anything. I don't think we can, but I mean, if we can, so much the better. How many of them? 3? 3 is not a whole ton. We'll just do the same thing we did last time. We'll start working on Punch again because we're down at 60 uses. I'll just try to do it about evenly for them. Oh, and I need to go back to the first town as well because I got to get a Psychic Knife. Wait, hang on. No, I don't. No, I don't. The next town after this will have a Psychic Knife, so we don't need to buy it from there. So as long as we keep 1,400 gold, it's fine. Yeah, we're all doing pretty good there. That also reminds me, though, I should take a look at the new Magi that we got, because they're actually not exactly what they say on the tin. The Defense Magi is exactly what it says on the tin. It'll give you 5 defense plus 1 for each one that you equip. So it's exactly how it's said on the tin. But the Fire and Ice Magi are interesting. So the way that it's supposed to work is they're supposed to give you resistance to the element of the Magi that they are. So Fire gives you Circle Fire, like Circle Para Poison, except for Fire Elemental attacks. Ice gives you Circle Ice. And they're supposed to power up only the ability that they give you resistance to. So Ice is supposed to power up your Ice skills, so it'd be good for Null because he only has Ice skills right now. Fire would be Fire skills. The way that it works, though, is a little bit different. Ice doesn't power up any skills at all, if I recall correctly. That's thanks to a bug in the game's code. And Fire actually powers up all magical spells, even non-elemental ones like Cure or Prayer, which is not Holy Elemental, it's actually non-elemental, it's weird, not the point. Cure or Prayer or anything else that's non-elemental magic, Fire actually powers up. Same thing with a Thunder Magi, it powers up all skills, and it gives you, I believe, Circle Ice. Circle Ice gives you Circle Thunder. It's really weird. They program these games really weird. Some parts of the programming, you can still see where the programming is a little bit amateur in some place in this game. But it actually works to our advantage because that means that I can equip Yumi with the Fire Magi, and now all of her magic attacks, even the Psychic Knife, will deal a lot more damage. I guess not a lot more isn't really a good way of putting it just yet. It'll deal more damage, that's the point. Enough to where she can actually use the Psychic Knife as a halfway decent weapon rather than, just swinging at air like when we first got the punches. Okay, well, Quinfucius is buff Psyduck now, so let's stick him in the second slot. I kind of feel bad for a lot of the people on the Discord server that aren't here right now because they're going to miss out on buff Psyduck. Well, actually, I think he's going to stay a Raven for probably the rest of the stream because we're going to be done in about a half an hour, but maybe 45 minutes. But I just like the Raven sprite. It's so stupid looking. Buff Psyduck. Oh, God. No, it's okay. They've got tomorrow. They can come to the stream and they can look at buff Psyduck when they get here at that point. This is the only time in the game where we're going to be using the Raven class of monsters, if I recall correctly, and we'll have a monster transformation in the next world. So, yeah, Get your chance to see buff Psyduck while you can, you know? Okay, what do we got to sell? We got a punch, we got a bronze glove that I don't need. We could equip that to Yumi or Null, but usually I like to keep them with just 2 pieces of armor because they're going to have a lot of other equipment that they'll use over the course of the game. In Null's case, he needs 4 slots free for his abilities, and in Yumi's case, well, I'll just give her a whole ton of equipment, so... let's sell off the axe, shall we? There's 700 gold that we didn't have before. Got anything else? Another longsword. Perfect. Got plenty of money now. And I will need a good chunk of it, because, well, obviously we can't buy these things just yet, but we will still need some money because we're going to need to buy a few healing items, is a good thing to say. I'll actually buy a few of them now while I've got a chance. We need, let's see, an eye drop, because some enemies in the next dungeon will be able to blind us. I'm going to buy a few cure potions, because we still don't have a regular cure spell. How many do I need? 1, 2, 3. I should probably buy 1 more, I think. There we go. And then buy 2 X cures. And trust me when I say it, it's better to be over-prepared in this case than under, because we may need all of those if Null doesn't get cure from any one random battle. I'm going to stick the eye drops up here because we'll probably run through most of these cure potions over the course of our time. Okay, but we should be good now to head to the next world. It's we just got to go to the Pillar of the Sky so we can go to Ashura's world. He's probably there gloating because he's got Magi, so we'll just kick his ass and take them from him. Sound good? Sounds good to me, so let's go do it, shall we? And because Ashura's base blew up, you can actually go in a few different directions here. I went in the direct path to get to the base before because all the other paths were just dead ends. But now that the base blew up, there's actually some holes where the dead ends used to be, so you can actually get here from a bunch of different directions. So, just in case you're wondering. Excuse me. Normally, Quinfucius would be using Beak as his main damaging skill because it would deal more damage. He has higher agility than he does strength. I should probably show his stats, shouldn't I? But because of the Power Magi, he actually has higher strength than he does agility. Not that his agility is anything to sneeze at, but it's a little bit more, so... we don't need that. Thank you. Let's take a look at Buff Psyduck's stats, shall we? Yeah, Circle Quake is rather nice, and then as you can see, Strength, Agility, Mana, all pretty good. He's got 23 Strength with the Power Magi, so that's going to do him some good. It's all good in the neighborhood. Let's go up the vines to the Pillar of Sky. Yeah, I just saved. It's fine. Oh, before we go, actually, let me use the Magi so we can just double check, make sure we got everything. Did we get everything, Prison Magi? Yes, we did. So yeah, once it says Magi in this world 0, you're pretty much clear to go to the next world. So, all right, let's go. Oh, yeah, actually that makes sense. Just in case Ashura's guys manage to sneak past us or something and try to go to this world, we should probably leave the strongest person other than Mr. S in this world to defend people. So Key will take her leave while we go to the next area. Okay. And that's why we're going to need all those cure potions, is because we still don't have anybody who can cure. So. Wow, this place is freaky. Look at that fancy space effect they got in the background. This game really pushed the boundaries for Game Boy effects, I think. Really, this entire series did that. They really pushed the boundaries in a lot of places after Legend 1, but yeah, this place is pretty cool. I don't want to go on the next teleporter pad. I just want to keep going. Well, actually you can't, because eventually you'll reach a roadblock where you don't have enough Magi to open all of the doors in the Pillar of the Sky. So eventually you will have to go to another world, just like this, and head off to the next world. Oh, I forgot to mention, I apologize, I should have mentioned it before. This is your one epilepsy warning. If you suffer from seizures or any kind of epileptic fits, which I guess is just seizures, isn't it? Well, anyway, if you suffer from epilepsy, the flash that happens when the Game Boy screen has me step on the teleporter pad there to get up and down in these areas may cause you some discomfort. I apologize if that's the case. You may just want to look away from the screen when I'm about to step on a teleporter pad. So basically, whenever I go into the Pillar of the Sky, just look away from the screen if you have epilepsy. I apologize I didn't say it before this, but this is your warning, just in case. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Let's keep going. Okay, bit of a desert planet, huh? See how many Magi he's got here, huh? Probably a few. Yeah, 7. That's quite a few. Okay, let's take Arya, Buff Psyduck, and the 2 human likes and go in the town and see what we got here. What's up, sir? Oh, this is the desert town. So apparently there's a bunch of, what's the right word? I don't know what the politically correct word would be for these people. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They're just, I don't want to say vagabonds, because that doesn't seem right to me, but, yeah, there's that. There's some new armor that we can get here. You could buy a silver gauntlet, silver shield, silver helmet, all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't worry about it for too much for right now, because we'll get some free silver stuff in the next dungeon we're going to, so don't concern yourself too much with it for now. Maybe the helmet I could see, because you may want it for your human or your mutant, but I personally just want to go get my psychic knife, and then once I have that, then I can concern myself with the rest. I think you get 1 free silver helmet in the next dungeon. I think it's the helmet and the shield, if I recall correctly, are the free gear that you get from there. So, oh, okay. So he used to be just a regular person, but then he became as gods. Fantastic. And now he just wants all of them because he's power hungry. Why can't anybody just take their few magi that they have and just live with it, you know? I mean, I guess even 1 magi could make you dangerous, though. I mean, look at us. We're a powerhouse, and we only have, like, 7. And to be fair, we're not even using all of them. So, what used to live in the next world anymore? Oh, giants. Huh. Wonder where they all went. Interesting. What's up, guys? It's in the eastern sandstorm. Good to know. Oh, apparently it's in the western sandstorm. I wonder who's correct. Well, if you're not sure, you can always go up to the pub owner, talk to him, get a refreshment, and he'll tell you who's correct. What did you see? Oh, the shadow of a tower, huh? Okay. Yeah, I don't know who else's tower it would be. Okay, so there's a cactus south of this town. Go 7 to the east, 7 to the south. There's another cactus. If you go south of that cactus, there's the tower. I should be able to get those directions, but it's a little wonky. It's not quite as simple as it was with the Relics of the Ancient Gods, so hopefully I should be okay with it, but we'll see. Oh yeah, you can run into enemies in the town as well, including new enemies like these snakes, flowers, and troopers. Nothing we can't handle, though. We should be fine. Probably just use nail over here, punch over here. The troopers, incidentally, have shields, so they can actually block your physical skills with their shields, and it makes them a little bit annoying, I guess, to kill. But if you use magic on them, it just ignores their shields, so. Now, that's not always going to be the case, because later on in the game, there are some shields that can defend against elemental damage, and once they have access to those, because they can access those eventually, it'll get a little bit more annoying to fight them, but by that point, we won't really have to worry about it too much. Well, there's a bronze shield and some max HP for Noel. That's not too bad. I can sell that right here. Get a little extra money. There you go. And now that we've got some extra money, let's buy a psychic knife for Yumi there. You might kick here as well if you didn't get in the first world, but I'm not too concerned about it. The stun gun has a chance to paralyze enemies when you use it, but it only hits 1 enemy if I remember right, so it's not all that worth it. And we'll be getting something else for Arya in terms of a weapon for her in not too long. So she's going to start to fall off just a little bit in terms of her damage eventually here, because even her rapier doing 130 damage won't be able to one-shot some of the enemies. But by the time that becomes a problem, we'll have another weapon for her that will be able to one-shot all the enemies, because it'll increase her agility even more. So yeah, I'm not too concerned. We'll be fine. And I think since we have some money left over, a decent chunk at that, I think we will go ahead and buy a silver helmet, but only 1, because like I said, I think we get a free one in the next area. Actually, I'm going to have you punch the trooper, because you'll probably have a higher chance of hitting him because, yeah, as you can see, Confucius is super fast. So, I even hit him. Nice. Block this! Well, we got agility, but that means Noel didn't get mana, but that's fine. It's no big deal. So yeah, won't buy a silver shield. We'll buy 1 silver helmet, though. Probably give it to Yumi because she's closer to the front slot, so let's replace that bronze helmet with a silver one. There we go. 7 defense ain't too bad. And let's give her a psychic knife. It won't deal a whole ton of damage at the moment, but her agility is in really good shape right now, so I'll probably use that instead of punch and kick for a little while. So, Until we can afford to buy actual spell books, that is. Because once we can afford to buy actual spell books, then it'll be more worthwhile to just have those for her. Alright, we're in good shape on our money. We've already got most of the supplies that we'll need for the next dungeon, so I probably should have slept at the inn, but that's okay. Okay, so we want to go south here, into the sandstorm. There's the cactus he was talking about. I'm going to save here real quick, just because my sense of direction in this sandstorm is a little bit off. If you don't want to bother with the BS directions, which their directions aren't BS, it's just they're a little bit convoluted, you can actually just go up to like where the pillar of the sky is, and the sandstorm is only in the center area of this world. So you can walk all the way around the sandstorm, around the outskirts of the world, and just get to the tower that way. But we'll try the convoluted directions instead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I want to go only 5. I think if I remember right, if you go too far here, you'll end up getting blown all around, so I don't want to go that far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a cactus there. And I believe where we need to go is directly below me. So I'm going to go this way a little bit. Okay, there's the cactus right there that we're worried about, the one that we're going to need there. And I believe this is a monster that I actually need in order to do some monster meat stuff with Confucius, right? Yeah, Were-Rat is the one I need to eat. But I don't want to eat the monster meat yet for Were-Rat because we're not quite... I want to basically eat it when we're in the next dungeon, because the next dungeon is fairly long, and if you eat monster meat and transform into a new monster, it actually refreshes your ability charges. So I want to use that as a sort of a free heal for Confucius once we get into the next area. So we won't eat Were-Rat meat here, even if we get it, but that's okay. I'll use the Psychic Knife and Ice. And that should give... Yeah, it won't deal any damage because it's still a weapon, and we don't really have a whole ton of mana at the moment, but, you know. Okay, so I want to hold to the right. Okay, I messed it up. Okay. So I messed it up, which meant we will basically, if you mess up here, you're going to get sucked into the center sandstorm there. So you're going to have to basically hold up at that point to get out, and then you'll have to do it again. It's not really a huge deal, but it's a little annoying, I guess. I guess it's more opportunities, though, for Yuumi to get mana and for Null to get mana, so no big deal. And there is another town before you get to the next dungeon, so don't worry about that too much. Hey, there we go. And Null got another ability. Awesome. He got Thunder, which gives him something other than Ice to attack with. It's pretty good, actually. All three of these abilities are really good. It's going to be a little bit of trouble, though, now, picking between these and the Cure spell that I would like to get for him at some point. Because I'd like him to have Cure if I can get it for him. And it's probably easiest to get it before we get too far in the game, because it's a level 1 ability. Let's try doing this, actually. Like, hugging this. Maybe that'll help us a little. There's the cactus again. We want to go south of this. Well, we'll run into monsters, but that's okay. You can run into some kind of nasty monsters out here, too. Like, there's some slimes and stuff that can be out here. Slimes are really the hardest ones because they can use Dissolve, just like Mr. S, to really blast your HP off. But, yeah, these flowers, not too bad. They're weak to ice. You would think they'd be weak to fire, but no, they're weak to ice, so... Alright, straight down, and there we go. Awesome. Here's the next town. And here's 3 more flowers. Okay. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Psychic Knife. Can I use Thunder and kill them? They got about 100 HP. I'll just use Ice for now. It's fine. Because, yeah, I'm not going to deal any damage with the Psychic Knife. Even with the low mana that I have and the Fire Magi, it's still not going to help us enough. So... Okay, in we go. Oh, okay, so Ashura used to be a goblin! And then he transformed after he used the Magi. Well, that's not good. To be fair, though, we didn't transform into vicious monsters when we used the Magi. I mean, unless you count how incredibly strong we are as turning into vicious monsters. Whatever. If you need any extra supplies for the tower, you'll probably want to grab them now because this is going to be your last opportunity before you go in. So... What's up, sir? No, I found my way on my own, eventually. Oh, there's a Guardian Spy here? A guy with a hat on? Huh. Well, I'll let you know. I probably shouldn't, though, because I'm looking for him, too. If he is who I think he is. Anything fancy here? You can get a saber here for 3,200 gold. It's the next level of weapon after the rapier in terms of agility weapons. There's also a battle sword if you're using strength weapons. I'm not going to buy a saber though because we actually get a free one in the next dungeon. So, and that'll be for Arya, obviously, because it's Arya is going to be our agility weapon user for a good chunk of the game. As a matter of fact, for her the entirety of her time in the game. So, oh, they caught the spy. Uh-oh. Well, if they caught him, they probably caught Dad, and that's not very Daijobu. Do I want to use a cure potion here to make it so I stay for free? Cure potion is 50. Yeah, I actually do, because it is 25 instead of 32. I'll even use the ones that I have, just like this. Basically, each cure potion, because they're worth 50, it's every time you use it, it's basically like using 12.5 gold. So, but I will still stay at the end because I can stay for free, and that'll recharge my uses, and we're definitely going to need them where we're going. So, okay. So now let me see here. I'm going to save real quick. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the were-rat meat that we need in a fairly short order while we're here. And probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to fight Ashura at the top of the tower. We'll do the boss fight. We'll do the story bit that's after it, but I'm actually going to use Ashura as an opportunity to gain some skills for Null, probably, if we don't get Cure by then. But we will see. So, let's get in, shall we? The part south of here, by the way, that you may have seen that's outside the sandstorm, that little bit of sand that's outside of the clouds there, that is the part of the world that you can go all the way around to from the Pillar of Sky to here, too, if you wanted to. If that makes any sense. You know what? If we get it from this particular fight, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to take it, probably. It's a little bit of a... might be a little bit of a risk, because I might not have enough charges by the end of the tower. No, I'll have enough. Never mind. I should have enough charges by the end of the tower to make it work. Let's see here. I don't want to do this. Yeah, bronze probably would be best. We'll kill the pebbles this turn, and we'll deal whatever damage we can to the were-rats. Sure, I'll use thunder. I got a bunch of attacking abilities now, so that'll make things much easier. And look, Yumi's even dealing damage with the Psychic Knife. Perfect. Excuse me. Yeah, the pebbles will go down pretty easily to magic. They have really good defense. I think they have like almost 20 defense, and they're like a level 1 monster, so... or maybe it's not 20. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating just a bit. But they've got impressive defense at this point, so you probably won't be able to hit them very easily with physical attacks. I mean, you'll hit them, but it won't deal a lot of damage. There's a mana up for Null. Awesome. How's he doing? Is he at 8 yet? Yes, he is. Perfect. He's getting there. He's gaining on you, Yumi. Well, he's actually got more mana than you do, but that's okay. I think, right? You haven't gotten to 8 right yet, right? No, you haven't. You gotten to 5. That's fine. Everybody's doing good. That's the point. I'm doing good. My character's doing good. Hope everybody in the audience is doing good. Everybody's doing good. It's all good. Okay, there's the enemy I was talking about. You definitely want to kill the slimes ASAP because, like I said before, they can dissolve you and it will deal a lot of damage. And the zombies here are nothing to scoff at either. They deal pretty good damage. If you have a fire skill yet on your mutant, you can kill them pretty easily, or flame still even. You can kill them pretty easily because they're weak to it, but yeah, I got thunder. That'll deal enough damage to take care of most of them. So, do I just use the bow? He's barely got any HP left. I'll use a bow and beak and just keep using the Psychic Knife. Sure, I'll use ice. Why not? Okay, well, I don't need that kind of meat. I need were-rat meat, game. Were-rat meat. There's were-rats. Give me the meat. Give me the garbage. Okay, let's see. I'll just blast him with ice. But yeah, the Psychic Knife isn't really there for damage. It's more there to give Yumi an opportunity to gain mana before we gather spells up. Hey, there's meat that I wanted. Awesome. Makes it a lot easier. I'm probably going to take the Power Magi off of Confucius after this, though, because once he eats the were-rat meat, he transforms from a raven into a Bodok. which may look a little familiar. I mean, he's a ghost now. He's a little bit different than what he was from in the first game, but I think we had a Bodok in the first game as well, if I remember. I think it was a skeleton in the first game, though, but here it has a unique sprite. It has some pretty good stats and some pretty good skills. It's probably the strongest C-type monster you can get at this particular point in the game from the monsters that are available to you. I mean, there's also the sprites that you can get, and sprites in this game are probably the best overall monster class, but I usually don't use them because they don't have good passive abilities. Sprites don't. Granted, the Bodok has X Fire, which is not a good passive ability either, but nothing hits you with fire right now, so I'm not really too concerned with it. Actually, that's a lie. The boss of this area will hit us with fire, but it's not. Again, it's nothing to be concerned with. He also has 263 HP. Holy shit! But, yeah, he only has 30 skills, so we'll have to make sure that we make it through here in relatively decent order. Okay, well, sorry, folks. Buff Psyduck was only here for about 45 minutes, and then he bit the dust, so... Quinfucius does have some really good skills now, though. Touch is basically Dissolve, so it's pretty solid, and then Sleep will put a single group of enemies to sleep. It's usually zombies don't take anything from that, though, so it's probably for the best that we... I don't even think I need to defend. I think Arya has enough defense where she can just use the Rapier and not worry about it. Used Rapier and Prey. The Pebbles have Circle Change, if I remember right, though, so you actually can't put them to sleep, but I'm going to try to put the snakes to sleep if I can. Do I want to kill the zombies? Or do I want to just use a Psychic Knife? I think I want to just use a Psychic Knife. And then kill the Pebbles. Kill the Pebbles! Kill the Pebbles right now! Okay. Sorry, I suddenly felt the need to turn into an opera singer. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's very quiet right now. It's okay. Doesn't matter. We'll roll with it. It's completely off the cuff, so we'll roll with it. I'm just gonna keep using Sleep. If I don't need Quinfucius to use Touch to kill something, I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna use Sleep because it's the least useful of the two skills that he has. So. You know what? I actually know why I was saying that about Pebbles. For some reason, it must have reminded me of that Kill the Pop-Ups song from that old Flash game, which is like a real big blast from the past. I don't even know where the hell that came from in my brain, but whatever. Null got Circle Poison, so that's okay. I mean, it lets him prevent any poison, which actually isn't too bad in here because the second level of skeleton enemies in here, Red Bones, can actually poison you, so it's not bad to have it. It's a temporary skill, though, or rather, it's temporary status ailment poison is. It'll cure after battle, so it's really nothing to worry about. So here's how it works. I mentioned before that you can retain mutant abilities by certain methods in this game. So here's how it works. The first 3 abilities that you have for your mutant will never, ever go away. Once you get 4 abilities, you will always have the first 3, as long as you don't stick them in the 4th slot. Circle Poison is currently in his 4th skill slot, so because it's there, he actually, when he gets a new ability after this, he'll replace Circle Poison with whatever the new ability is, and he will keep these 3, Blizzard, Ice, and Thunder, in place. So it's actually really nice. It's a really nice quality of life change that they made there to make it so that keeping mutant abilities isn't a pain in the butt, because that way you don't have to keep save scumming in order to keep them. You can just say, well, what do I want? What do I not want? I'll just stick the one I don't want in the 4th slot and then keep the rest of them up here, and that'll be all I need. So yeah, it's pretty good. I like that change. It's a very nice quality of life change that they made. Anyway, that's enough about mechanics. I think that's basically all of the mechanics in the game that's really going to be relevant. I mean, other than that, the only thing I can think of is like when I start eating certain monster meats, I'll have to tell you, here's what I'm looking for. But other than that, I think we're pretty much done with mechanical explanations for now. I wonder if Arya can kill one... Actually, no, here's an idea. We'll do the Rapier on that. We'll use Touch on the Pebbles because that ignores defense. And we'll have Yuumi use the Psychic Knife on the zombies and then blast them with Thunder, because Null will be able to kill them in one hit. But yeah, as you can see, lots of damage from the Touch skill there for Quinfucius, because it ignores that defense, and it's got a pretty good multiplier from his mana, so it's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to use the bow. And just keep using the Psychic Knife. I'll use a little bit of Blizzard. Why the heck not? Won't be necessary because we can just kill him with the bow, but that's fine. What was I going to do here? Oh yeah, I forgot to equip a different Magi on Quinfucius, because nothing that he uses now uses the Power Magi. He just has Sleep and Touch, which are completely reliant on his mana. The Ice Magi does not increase mana, though, so it's probably better to just give him the Defense Magi for now. And for a little while, this is probably going to be our Magi setup, is just speed, defense, fire, mana. Like I said, probably never take the Mana Magi off Null, probably never take the Speed Magi off Arya. Yumi will probably never take the Fire Magi off. Confucius will probably, once we get a Thunder Magi, I'll give that to him. Or I'll give that to Yumi, actually. I forget. I'll have to look up whether or not the Thunder Magi gives you Circle Ice, or if that's just in the third game. There are no Magi in the third game, but Ice and Thunder get mixed around in the third game a whole lot. It's kind of confusing. I'll have to just look at which one gives you which resistances, and I'll be giving it to Confucius, because I think in the next monster transformation that I want, Confucius is going to get Circle Thunder, which will be rather nice for him. There's a Saber. Awesome. So yeah, like I said, didn't need to buy one because we're going to get one right now. So, and it is significantly stronger because, as you'll take a look at once we use it, 36 extra HP and what was that, 8 extra agility for Arya. So she's a house now. Not that she wasn't a house before. But yeah, that'll be very powerful for us. Now we've got a light attack, a heavy attack, and then the bow for all it's worth. We'll be replacing the bow with that SMG once we get enough money, which should be basically after this dungeon. Okay, this is a little bit of a tricky battle actually right here. The octopus in the middle can actually blind you, so you got to be a little careful with that. But other than that, I think we'll be okay. Eagles can deal good damage, but that's pretty much all they can do. So I'll take care of the octopus because it's probably the most threatening thing in this battle. Just use the Psychic Knife, and then... Do I Blizzard and then Thunder? Or do I just Thunder? The skeletons will probably be left alive at the end of this anyway. Whereas if I kill the eagles with it, I think I can just use whatever I want and they'll die. So I guess we'll just leave the red ones alive for now. Not optimal, but, you know, it's fine. Oh, by the way the that the Touch and Dissolve and everything skills like that work is if it says that you cannot absorb HP, it's because the enemy has Circle Para. If you have Circle Para, you can't absorb any HP from them. So that's how that works, just in case you're wondering how that worked. Rapier should be good enough. I'm just going to use Sleep because I think if they're undead, Touch has the opposite effect where it'll actually hurt you. So I would rather that not happen. I think I should be fine. Yeah, they're not going to fall asleep either, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, as you can see, we got poisoned before, but it just neutralized right away, so it's really not a big deal. Hey, more mana. Awesome. Let's keep going, shall we? Might go for a little length on this episode just so I can get to the next boss and fight it so that I can do some save scumming that I'll probably need to do off screen. So we might go for a little length on this one. Confucius is a really good tank right now, though, I should mention, because of the fact that he has he has all that HP, but also in addition to that, he has the touch skill, which will give him back HP. So that's pretty good. How's this blizzard? That's pretty good. Figured I'd save my ice charges where I can. Alright, let's keep going. We're getting closer to where we need to be. Apparently there's a mini-boss in my way, though, so we'll have to take care of that. Who used the Cure Potion already? Null did? Yeah, Null did. Okay. Maybe I over-prepared now that I have some super powerful monsters and stuff here. I did end up using these potions eventually, though. I think what ended up happening is because once you get to the top of the tower, the monsters start coming in humongous groups, and you don't really have the kind of offense at this point to really take care of them all at once. And that's why they'll end up hitting you for little bits of damage, but it all starts to add up, and then you end up needing to heal quite a bit. So, all right, well, before we attack this guy, I'm going to save real quick here. Now, this guy is a level 3 monster, if I remember correctly, so you can gain some decent stats out of him. I don't need his meat, though. We won't need meat again until the next dungeon. Let me look. Yeah, the next dungeon is the next time we'll need meat, so... yeah, we won't need to worry about that, but if we can gain stats out of him, so much the better. Hey, are you ready to Mario type? I'd never even played that game. I don't even know why I know that. The bow? The bow. Try to put him to sleep. Psychic Knife. Blizzard. Yeah, Blizzard. We probably won't kill him this round, but I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to hit him, essentially, before I just viciously murder him with Arya's saber. because otherwise it's not really gonna make too much of a difference to us. Someone is swearing up a storm on the upstairs television. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but yeah, 215 damage. Look at that. And Null got some HP. That's not bad. I'll take it. Any little bit I can get, you know. Especially HP for a mutant. That's not a bad thing. What's up, man? You have the hat, but you're not who I thought you were. Apparently this guy's name is Mask. Okay. Yeah, you got caught. What the hell, man? Aren't the Guardians supposed to be better than that? Well, apparently we're going to work together with Mask now, so he's joined our party. Awesome. He's got pretty good stats for right now. The problem is that he comes with basically nothing in terms of gear. His gear obviously was taken from him when he got into the prison, so we're going to have to go find that for him before we move along here. Alright, well, we used one of the potions now, so let's equip another one. And then we'll go from there. There we go. And I'm actually going to use one charge of that right away because Null's a little... Well, he's not low, but I like to top people off in here because basically when you get into a situation where you have 12 or 13 enemies to deal with in one battle, that's a situation that you don't want to be in, and if you don't have potions, you're going to have a bad time, so... Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't too bad. His equipment is right up here. So now let's take a look at Mask now that he has his equipment. As you saw before, he has an incredible amount of strength, agility, and mana. He has nothing to use the mana on right now, but it does make him relatively immune. Not immune, but like if anybody's going to status him, like if they were going to try to blind him, he's probably not going to get blinded because his mana is so high. And also he has 35 strength, 29 agility, and a hammer. So even though the hammer is the first strength weapon in the game, he will deal a very large, respectable amount of damage with that hammer. He'll probably one-shot most of the things in this tower, frankly, with it. At the exception of the final boss of the tower, obviously. If he one-shotted that, it'd be easy game, easy life, but yeah, he won't do that. Okay, so we have quite a few enemies here. I'm going to put the troopers to sleep. The flowers will be alive in the next round because I don't have a skill to kill them with just yet. Actually, no, if I'm going to put the troopers to sleep, I might as well kill the flowers, right? And then, Mask, why don't you just hammer these guys over the head? I think if they're sleeping, they can't defend with the shield. I'm not 100% sure about that, but that's... I mean, that would make sense to me. If they're incapacitated, why would they not... I mean, I guess their training could be good enough that they just deflect in their sleep, but I don't know, that seems a little suspect to me. Oh, there goes the flowers, and a good chunk of the troopers are still sleeping, so that's good. Let's see what we can do. I'll just use touch. Because why the heck not? Psychic Knife. Thunders? No, that was Ice. Thunder game. There we go. Donald, use Thunder.
You never tell me to use Thunder. You always tell me to use Cure, you asshole.
Okay. Well, we got almost 1,000 gold out of that battle. That's pretty good. My Donald impression is so frickin' bad, man. Holy crap. Oh, boy. Those slimes really need to go. How many of them are there? There's 5. That's a yikes for me, Chief. I'm gonna use a rapier on them. Because I don't think... Yeah, because I don't have AoE skills at this point that are on anybody other than Null. I should probably focus on the slimes. I know the eagles can deal decent damage, but like I should probably focus on the slimes. I could use Blizzard. No, I shouldn't. I'll use Thunder. And Hammer! You really need to concentrate on the slimes, because trust me, they deal a lot of damage. So getting rid of as many as you can before they can make a turn is the way to go. Especially since we take no damage from the eagles if they just attack Arya. Now, if they do attack Arya, the slimes that is, because it ignores defense, it doesn't matter that Arya has all that HP, or even all that defense, because she will still get viciously mauled by them. So it's well worth your time to just blast the slimes as much as you can before the battle gets out of hand. You'll notice, by the way, that I'm using the Psychic Knife with Yuumi here. If she gets a turn before all the eagles die here, the way that the stats that you gain in battle work is that, let's say you use an agility weapon like the punch and then a mana weapon like the Psychic Knife. You will gain stats. You have a chance of gaining stats based on the last item that you use in battle. So if she used the punch first and then the psychic knife after that, she has a chance of gaining mana in that case because she used the psychic knife last. If she did it vice versa and she used the psychic knife first and then the punch, she would have a chance of gaining agility. So whatever you want to gain a stat in, you should use that last if you want to make sure that you're, you know, not getting too out of hand with that. There's 6 snakes. I should use this and sleep and psychic knife and ice. Actually, blizzard worked. I remembered from before. We killed them all with blizzard. So that's fine. Null's lack of agility may kind of bite us in the butt just a little bit here for a little while because he's the one who's going to have all the group attacks for a decent chunk of the beginning of the game. But it'll be fine. We'll figure it out later, where it's not a huge deal. What do we get from that chest anyway? I didn't even look. Hang on. Pistol. Okay. So that's not really going to be all that useful to us, so we'll just leave it down here for now. That's fine. Do I want to use that cure potion? I might as well just use them from my inventory now, shouldn't I? Because, I mean, I got them all there. I guess I could use them if I needed them from, you know, from there, but yeah, I'll just leave the ones in my inventory. It's fine. Oh, the tower's getting a little smaller on the sides. That means we're probably almost there. Those beetles on the right side there are actually weak to ice, just like most of the things in this tower, frankly. But I should be able to cut through their defenses. They have decent defense with Saber. Touch ignores defense, so even if they defend, I think Touch will still work. And then we can use Thunder here and Hammer there just in case it doesn't kill them. Okay, well, the Hammer killed them, so that means that Arya will save a Saber, which is good, because I'm probably going to need the Saber for the boss. We won't need 23 Sabers for the boss, but yeah. Okay, so apparently he did block Touch with his shield there, so that's not good. Well, then I guess we'll put him to sleep. And Psychic Knife, and Blizzard Fist, and Hammer. Okay, well, we broke through his defense. Good. Yeah, I don't need Beetle Meat. Thank you, but no. Okay, 5 zombies and a Barracuda. I can kill the Barracuda in one hit. The zombies on my lawn will not die very easily, so let's just use Thunder and the Hammer. Thunder should kill some of them. I think they have like 103 HP, so it's at that point where you might kill them with Thunder, but it might not kill all of them. Okay, so they have a little more than 103 HP. They probably got like 110, something like that. Like very little left over from what we have here now. I'm running out of sleep charges. I hope I make it to the end before I run out of sleep charges, because that would suck. I have 2 left, so hopefully... I may actually, once I run out of sleep charges, you can actually run in this game with a fairly decent amount of success, especially the way I'm building characters, because I'm focusing on agility rather than strength. So we should be able to run away from most of the enemies here if I need to. I may not need to, but we'll see. And I don't think you get the free silver helmet, because I think the silver shield is in this chest right here, and then after that I don't think there's a whole lot in terms of treasure. But see, these are the kinds of battles that I was talking about, where you'll end up getting into some crazy number of monsters if you, you know, once you get towards the top of the tower. So, those snakes will die from Blizzard Fist, and if I use the hammer... Well, at least one Barracuda will be dead, and all the baby worms will maybe sleep. Never mind. I was wrong! It's okay, Arya should be able to defend against most of the stuff. Yeah, look at that. All the defense! Ow. Unless they do that. Please stop. Okay, so the snakes should be dead. The baby worms are dead. Good. The Barracudas are... almost all dead. Good. This is working out. This is working pretty good. I'm enjoying myself here. We only need about, I want to say, 3 charges of touch for the boss fight, by the way, just in case you're wondering. I would like to save them if I can, because I'd rather have more than I need than less than I need, but yeah. There's a silver shield. We can replace the bronze shield right away with that and give Arya a bunch of extra HP. And a good chunk of defense, too. Should get her to 30, yeah. Because bronze stuff gives you +2 defense, silver stuff gives you +4, so it's usually pretty good. And she's got 204 HP. She's still a better tank than Confucius, though, even with Confucius having all that HP, just because of the defense and because of the shield, so it's probably best to just use Confucius as an off-tank. Really, that applies to most of the game, frankly, is Confucius would make a good off-tank. But, yeah. So we'll do what we can. I think this should be the last floor. Yeah, this is the last floor. Maybe the silver helmet's in one of these, actually. There's a power potion. You can sell those for... I'm not exactly sure how much. I want to say, like, maybe 500 gold, which I guess would be okay for now. It's really kind of a pittance of money, though, because we really won't need the money pretty soon. That magic potion is really nice, though, because that can be useful for Noel's mana. So let's give that to him. I'll give the power potion to Yumi. She won't use strength for anything for probably pretty much all of the game. But, I mean, she's a human. She doesn't really have anything else to work on. Noel can't get it naturally, but I'm never going to give him any weapons, basically, at all for the rest of the game. So, yeah, just give it to Yumi. What the hell? A little extra money or a few extra stats, no big deal. I probably could have sold that one and then just used the other ones that I get in the game, but it's fine. Oh, she's got 8 strength. That's not too bad. Her stats are looking pretty good, actually. Her agility is doing very well, and her mana's... It's not doing great, but it's doing pretty good. So. Okay, so we're almost to the top now. Oh, this is a rough battle. There are 5 slimes in this battle. This is gonna be sketch. Let's just kill the slimes. Because, see, the octopi over here can blind us and do a whole bunch of other stuff that I definitely don't want to deal with. So let's just kill as many of the slimes as we can. And then we'll worry about the other groups of enemies after the slimes are dead. They should all be dead at the end of this round, though. Because everyone's going to kill one by themselves. And then Noel's going to mop up whatever's left. Ink there is the skill that can blind you. So if you need to, you can use eye drops after this, but yeah. But again, if you put a robot in the front slot, blind is basically no big deal to you because, well, they have circle para poison, so they will never get blinded. So that's pretty good. I think if I remember right, the octopi are weak to thunder. I don't want to use touch on the zombies. They are undead. They will probably reverse that, and I will probably not like it too much. Excuse me. Psychic knife? Nah, I'll use punch here because I need to kill the zombies. We'll use thunder over here and then hammer. So there might be like 1 zombie left at the end of this. The octopi should all be dead. This is the interesting part about this game, though, right? Is it's this 30-year-old Game Boy game, but it has the makings of like. I really almost the SMT comparison I think is uncanny because each and every battle that you fight when you start to get to the upper floors like this, you have to kind of account for all the different variables when you're fighting monsters. I really hope Confucius doesn't go first here. But you kind of have to account for a whole bunch of different variables when you... Yeah, see, he'll steal all of the HP. Not that that's going to matter because we'll be able to heal it, but... But yeah, because you have to say, okay, what's the biggest threat in the battle? Can I kill this with this? Can I kill this with this? And you end up having to kind of strategize a little bit, which for an old Game Boy game, it's like, wow, what a concept. Actually having to use some amount of strategy with your fighting. Some games in the newer days could even take some notes from the way that this game handles the battles. So, I'm not trying to throw shade. Newer games are good. I'm just impressed at the fact that they managed to make you have to really think about how you fight enemies in a Game Boy game, So that to me is impressive. 3 slimes? 3 slimes. So, kill the slime here. You help with that too. I don't want to leave the zombies alive at the end of the fight, so I think what I'll do is I'll have... No, actually, Mask can kill one of them, so I will... fight the octopi, use thunder on the zombies to kill them, and then the Mask. Almost spoiled it there. Okay, well, since I've basically just thrown it all under the bus at this point, Mask has the same exact sprite as Dad, which should give you a hint as to what his actual identity is. He's just Dad wearing a mask, but I wasn't supposed to tell you that yet. I'm spoiling the story. Reality is going to break apart in a second, but it's fine. We'll be fine. Alright, let's just kill the rest of the octopi, and then we'll go home. Oh, man. I'm gonna have to remember that one when I play Final Fantasy V. Oh, good. Noel got another thunder spell. Fantastic. Although that's not actually a bad thing, because here's what we can do, right? We have 6 thunder charges here. You can actually swap the old thunder with the new thunder, and now you have 15 charges of thunder. So that's pretty good. That'll actually help quite a bit with his skills there. Okay, this is starting to get out of hand. Run! I'm gonna run from all the battles now because there's the silver helmet. I knew I remembered there was one here somewhere. But yeah, I'm gonna start running from battles now because we're almost to the 3-hour mark, and I would like to. Where'd the silver helmet go? Is it up here? Yeah, it's up here. Okay. Like I said, I'd like to get through Ashura today. Now that I've explained all the mechanics, the game should go a little bit quicker. But the reason why I want to get through Ashura today is because I want to basically save scum with him. In order to get Noel access to the cure ability before we move on, because it is so critical that Noel gets cure. Like, I can't even tell you how critical it is that Noel gets cure here. It's so important because then I won't have to buy nearly as many potions throughout the game. It'll save us a lot of money that we can then buy other things for. So rather than leave it up to chance, I would rather get it from a monster that is guaranteed to potentially give it to me, like Ashura here. Now, Ashura is a level 6 monster, so he can give you a whole bunch of different skills all the way up to level 6. And there is one in particular that I might want to get from him just because it's so much easier to get it that way, and I don't have to worry about it later, but I'll make that judgment call later. For now, do I want to equip anything else? I think the Defense Magi on Confucius is good enough. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We already saved, right? I'll save again just for the hell of it. There we go. Okay, Ashura, you're going to have to stop stealing Magi and give them to me, because you can't have them anymore. What's so funny? I also like how they start the boss music before the battle again. That's a nice touch. They're just keeping that trend, you know? They micronized? Wait, what the hell? How did you get into her body? I mean, I guess if they micronized, they could have gotten into one of her orifices. Which one did they go in? Don't answer that. Oh, okay, so she can heal because she has Magi in her body. Okay, so she's not just like a, you know... I mean, she could have learned how to heal using books and stuff, but she has such potent healing because there are Magi in her body. And now Ashura had his people micronized so that he can go and get it from her. But he's also going to try to kill us while he's at it, but that's not going to happen. Let's take him out, gang. So yes, you have to fight Ashura almost right away in this game, which goes to show just how far he's fallen. He's pretty powerful. He has the 6 arms ability, which is really strong. If it hits any one person besides your robot, they're probably dead. But it will probably be okay because he probably won't hit Confucius out of the whole thing. Try to get everybody to attack, but I'm going to probably just have Yumi use punch and everything. The touch skill that Confucius has, plus Mask's hammer, plus everything else that we're using, should be able to bring Ashura down in about 2 rounds. But I'm not 100% sure about that. It's usually better to just kill him as fast as you can, because otherwise he'll just start blasting your entire party with huge amounts of damage, so... Okay, so there we go. Because we had so much defense on, and that was on Confucius, 19 defense is enough to actually prevent him from killing you with the 6 arms ability. I think he only has like 10 or 12 strength, but if he would have hit either Yumi or Noel, they would be guaranteed dead. And if he hit Mask, he would be pretty damn close. So, but yeah, because of the way that I've built my party, he's probably going to be a pushover. Don't let that fool you. I'm making this look a lot easier than it actually is, for once. So, all right, there we go. Killed him. We got 16 HP for Noel. That's fine. I'm actually, like I said, I'm going to reset after I end it in a few minutes here. And I'm going to get Noel the Cure ability from this battle. So I'm just going to keep redoing it until tomorrow, and I'll have Cure by the time the next stream happens tomorrow. It shouldn't take too long for me to get it, because like I said, Ashura is a rank 6 monster. He should be able to give it to me fairly easily. And once we have it, I won't have to worry about it for the rest of the game. So I might as well use the opportunity now to get it, and then we'll be good. Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you started stealing everyone's magi, you ass. So he had a power magi, a speed magi, a mana magi, a fire magi. Getting ahead of myself, an ice magi, a thunder magi, and a poison magi. Poison magi, incidentally, are kind of like the ice magi in that they give you circle poison, which is actually the worst one that they could give you. And they don't improve your skills like the fire and thunder magi do. So apparently Mask is all taken care of, so he's just gonna head out. All right, that's fine. Bye, Mask. Yes, Key is definitely in a trouble, Arya, so let's go make sure she's not dying. I mean, she might be dying, but hopefully we'll be able to figure out a way to fix that for her. I think you get fully healed as well when you go here. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, that's cool. I'm actually surprised that Null has more HP than Yumi. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually Yumi gets quite a bit more HP. Uh-oh. Key! Answer me, Key! What's going on, Sprite? Okay, so they micronize, so we're going to need to figure out how to micronize ourselves, and apparently the Giants might be able to tell us, even though apparently they're not in their world anymore. Oh, and Key had a defense magi for us. Awesome. Well, Ms. Sprite, that might actually be a bit of a problem because as we learned, the Giants aren't actually in the Giants world anymore. Did they leave any of their secrets behind in order to tell us how to micronize so we can save Key's life? And what other magi await us in the next worlds beyond? Find out on the next episode of Final Fantasy Legend 2, the Stream Edition. This is a good cliffhanger. I'm glad I could do this in the first episode. So thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you coming out to Twitch and YouTube to check out the stream. Like I said, by the next episode, I will have Cure on Null as his... I'll probably stick it as like one of his first 3 abilities. We'll end up getting rid of one of his Thunders, and I'll probably stick... I don't know, I might stick Ice down here instead of... Because we already have Blizzard, so I'll figure out what I'm going to get rid of, and we'll meet back here for the next episode, which will be tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, until then, everyone, take care, and have a good night. God, this music is so good.
God, this game is so good.